tweetars that help me.
Fallon will post it in a sec.
Oh boy. Wowie wowie. You know what? Let me change the brand color really quick to something watery. There we go. All right.
Boy,
Yeah.
picked. Yes.
We
Avatar
just
2.
simultaneously, about 3 hours apart, have seen Avatar 2, The Way of Water.
Woo!
Oh my god. Dude, this whole 3 hour business with the babies crying about, how are we going to take a potty break without intermission? And I love what Cameron said. He's like, well, you can come back to the theater and see what you missed the second time.
This next time, don't drink yourself into a fucking.
Dude, all the stuff he's been dissing, Marvel, even though he works for Disney now, with them releasing it and stuff. Like, I love it. I love his bravado making this movie and the sequels, and wow, ambitious. I was half watching, half listening to the behind the scenes, like, that you can find on YouTube. I shared it too, and holy shit, this has been back since like '95. He was working on Avatar, and 14 years later we get the sequel. And you know what I said? My one reservation, my one concern would be to sitting on it too much, even though theoretically he sat on it for like 14 years building it the first time. So, yeah, I mean, the only thing I'm afraid of is him dying abruptly before he can finish this. Hopefully, he's got like someone like George R. R. Martin, where he's like, "Hey, this is the
Plan B.
rough draft of everything, and we've talked X, Y, and Z so much that you are the steward to carry this franchise on. If I
Maybe
abruptly
he
die."
got himself a DNA cloned body that is ready to take on the mantle when he's
That
done.
would be hilarious. This is all actually him. He knows he can't say it out loud, so he, through his art, he's like, this is
our
my backup.
technology.
This is my backup plan that I've actually funded with George Soros and company. Like,
Yeah. I mean, just like, man, I don't know how much we want to do about like preamble before talking about the film, but
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So I just did my video like an hour or two ago, out of the theater. Yeah, I want to hear your non-spoilers much as possible, besides like the vague things you might get from trailers. Initial kind of.
Yeah, in the trailer they had the Marine guy from the first one return as as a Navi, as an avatar, and I was like, "What? That's not going to be in the movie," but it was, and I think that was done pretty well the way they utilized him. The whole the way they integrate with the other tribe is done really well. The reason why they leave as well, leave their own tribe for it, is freaking like just I don't know. Most of this is done pretty well. A lot of people don't like the pace. They think that there's a lot of time that is like spent like where you could kind of cut it out. Which there's some parts I could sort of agree, but I feel like it's still good that it's in there, like with what they're trying to do. Um, man, the character development in this one is far higher than in the first one, to be honest. Like
Oh
big
yeah, dude.
time,
The
very good
remember
character stuff. Holy shit!
we just rewatched Avatar like 3 days ago,
Yeah,
and yeah, there's like, I would say like a 15-20 minute introduction to the whole setting of the 2150s Earth. People leaving Earth sucks now. Jake Sully's a cripple. He's an ex-marine. Pandora, the Navi, yada yada yada. The Avatar reality, and needing him because they've already got a body. He's a twin, and yeah, like we've talked about, like, hindsight, a lot of problems with the opening of Avatar, as far as like a hook. There's a lot of info dumping to get you oriented, but there's
we
not
wanted it to
any.
take its time, but it's speeding along. But everybody else is like it's so long. No,
And
it
this
needs to
one,
take its
th-
time.
this opening is quick like the first one, but you get so much like character. This whole like, I'm a family man, I got 4 kids, Now, here's the thing I didn't get, and we'll go through the Wikipedia plot synopsis to clarify anything. But I was uncertain. Grace's body had a baby. They kept her body in a
They said it
tube.
was mysterious. I thought their
It was so
implication.
quick I didn't catch
Well,
like, all right,
hold on.
he's raising her, but that's not really his
So
kid.
so I could be wrong here, but I kind of got the gist in a way that it was kind of, you know how they have somewhat religious vague elements with the film a little bit? Uh like, so Sigourney Weaver's character Grace died in the first one. And I don't know, like, you know how there's the seeds. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
assuming there's like, because the daughter has like a connection like that nobody else has with with different life and the way that she can hear and like communicate with the with Awa. Like it seems like it's kind of like a Jesus birth kind of thing, maybe, but I don't know. Like that's kind of ridiculous to hear. Like, I'm just thinking about that now, but that's kind of what they're implying, that the tree that's how I'm taking it, that the tree impregnated Sigourney Weaver's avatar body, and that's what this chick. But I don't know, because
Mm.
they don't know who the father is.
So she's immaculately oh. All right, let me look at
They
the
said it was a
plot really quick.
mysterious birth.
Um, all right, so sorry, I paused because I'm like, wait, are you done with the like that was a question I added, but are you cool to just start getting the spoilers or
Let's
do
fucking
you
go, man. Let's just
all right.
go. There's a
So
lot to talk about.
all right, the plot surprisingly is actually short on this wiki page. Maybe it'll get bigger, but over a decade after the events of the first film, Sully lives as chief of the Amantakaya and raises a family with Neytiri, which includes his biological sons Nitiam and Loak and his daughter Tuk. His adopted daughter Kiri, born from Grace's inner Navi avatar, and a human boy named Spider, son of Miles.
I love the name the kid Spider. It's such a such a weird name for a kid. I love that. It's Spider. It's like a villain name in a like in the Terminator. I don't know. You gotta fight Spider.
No, I feel like if they did a dodgeball sequel, then White Goodman, like he's got
He's got a
Blazer,
son. He's got a
Taser,
son. No, he's got a dodge.
Spider.
He's got a son named Spider that's gonna take on the Globo Joe or take on the Average Joes or whatever.
Yeah. So Spider is a leftover from the first film. Um, he couldn't be shipped back to Earth because he was too young for the cryostasis. So it's like a 6-year journey
Which
in cryostasis, and
small thing, but that's something that I appreciate with these type of films as well. Is one, they're aware of like how technology and life mixing works. Like, you can't just have an infant baby, put out of commission for however many years. That's, while it's developing, trying to grow anything like that would f it up pretty bad. And that's kind of comboed with the element of breathing with this planet. Like, you have the humans that can't breathe in the air on Pandora and have to have their masks. You've got the hybrid ones that can, have an alternate amount of time they can breathe it okay without any problems, but still have to wear their masks here and there to breathe in some stuff. And going underwater, like, breath has a lot to do with the film in a way. It
yeah,
seems like an odd detail, but they keep it up the whole time, and it's not too distracting, but it's also important.
yeah. No, I paid
I like
attention to
that.
that. I was waiting for it to like kind of get thrown out the window, and they clearly like there's like live action filming of like water stunts of essentially. I was thinking of this watching it toward the end when the ship capsizes, and I'm like, oh, a ship capsizes. It's just like Pearl Harbor. Like that could be your takeaway. Like, oh, this happens and it flips over and it's just Pearl Harbor.
I did not think about that at all. While
Well, that's
watching
my
it.
military mind, but yeah, like this movie, I was so into it. I was not distracted. It was so well utilized time. It felt like there was nothing wasted. There's always something you're gathering or experiencing. in the movie.
I didn't even realize how little Jake is in it compared to the first film. Like, he's only in, like, if I wanna say 50% of the film because it's a lot of focus on his kids.
Yeah, that God, I mean, everything that they juggled in this was damn near flawless.
If anything, I still think that they should have taken more time. Should have like, no,
I said that I think there should be like a
we're going too
15-hour
fast.
Snyder cut of this.
Like the whole like until they leave the whole part up to when they're gonna leave to the water tribe, that could be a whole season in and of itself. And like him raising his kids and dealing with the humans back on Earth and the stuff going on there. I'm like, this is fucking interesting. No, no, but we gotta go. No, stop moving along. No, I want to see what's happening and how they're dealing with this and what the humans like are there. I feel like the problem is that we don't spend enough time with enough humans to even understand any other complexity beyond they're doing their job. But that's the thing. If you're to send humans to either mine a planet or to do whatever, the ones that are there to do what they're supposed to do. So there's not going to be as many of them that are like super conflicted about it because that's what they're sent here to do on their long ass journey. You know?
Yeah, I was a little confused. And maybe you picked up on something, but this idea of like, all right, they're hunting Jake Sully. They got to get Sully because he's the leader. That's
Oh yeah, yeah.
the
Hold on. I
counterinsurgency.
can already answer your question. I think. So you mentioned, yeah, they were doing a lot of guerrilla warfare essentially while
Yeah,
the humans were there, and it was all led by
it
Sully.
was literally just
He
the
was
Tusken Raiders.
he was
They just
yeah
copied Book of
he was
Boba Fett.
he copied Star Wars. He he was taking out all their supply lines. He was taking out different routes they're using to do things. Like he was he was really slowing down their progress. They're mentioning how they're able to do a lot more in this last year, but they're slowed down by Jake. Like they keep on resisting big time. And so I think their idea was you take him out and then you'll have less of this problem. They'll be less organized. He organized the people and has them all fight each other. He knows military tactics and stuff. You get rid of Jake, then you can more easily get rid of the savages or just do what you want, and the savages aren't going to be as much of a problem. That was the impression I got.
Yeah, I
And
was just
that's why they wanted the
confused.
gun for him.
It seemed like this specific tribe that they're building by is a problem that he's weaponized. He, of course, is a human. He has the most knowledge of their stuff. Um, but I was confused because it's like, all right, I'm just passing on the torch to the next clan leader, and it felt like I was confused. I'm like, wait, shouldn't they all be leaving and not just
Uh,
them? Because they're still going to come
okay.
after them.
I actually wasn't sure if you wanted to talk about that now or later, but I guess since you talked about it
It
now,
was
we'll mention it
close to
now.
the beginning, so I'm
So
like,
that's
what?
actually something that I kind of almost find as a flaw because okay, they do want to hunt down Sully for sure, and their specific area that they were in made it difficult, and that's why the avatar bodies that the military and them used were important because they're like their ships that they tend to use have difficulty navigating the vortex stuff like in the trees and all that stuff. It's more difficult in the wildlife responds. They get attacked. They can't aim very well. So it's like, yeah, they just walk into a trap. So you have to have the military avatar people come in to, more easily be able to take them out as well, take out Sully and them. The thing is, taking Jake out is good, but the fact that he goes away, this may be weird, giving me TLJ vibes for a sec. Of he's gonna go away and go to isolation for a bit, but for better fucking reasons here. But yeah, the military that are around, the humans that are near the Navi and all that, I think they'd still do their stuff, fucking with their territory. So the problem doesn't go away. It just maybe their focus changed for a bit, but I don't know, like, because the human production, they made it clear that they're not just trying to mine, they're trying to establish, like, living space here and
Yeah,
safety from the savages. The way they made it seem was that they don't even intend at all at making peace with them. At most, they're not gonna just, try to attack the savages all the time. They're going to but, if they're in their way, they will fucking annihilate them, is what they wanna do. Like, it didn't seem like there's any type of recourse talking that they wanna do, so the tribe that they left behind, to go to the Water Tribe. Still fucking there. Still potentially gonna be fucked with. And I didn't catch this. Did the big tree get destroyed in the first
In the
film?
first one, no, they missed because they crashed the shuttle.
What I'm saying in this film, when they all landed and they burnt the forest, did the big old tree get wiped out? Because they moved locations to caves, the Navi
Yeah, in the mountains.
tribe.
I was confused because I literally missed like that minute when that started. I saw like the landing, the fire and everything, but I had a call and I didn't know if it was important. So I ran out real quick and then it was, I guess, telemarketer. I'm like, God damn it.
Okay, that'll be something then on a rewatch
Yeah,
that
I'm
I'll
gonna go
catch
rewatch as
because
well, I got to
I
rewatch because I missed the Barbie trailer apparently and the Oppenheimer
oh
trailer.
god, yeah, it was in there. In the Oppenheimer one. The Oppenheimer one looks fine, I guess. The Barbie one looked it was a cringe commercial for it, but
um,
I don't know. But anyway,
yeah,
with this, so I would call this a flaw if it happened. Like I will have to really confirm to rewatch it again. If the home tree got destroyed, I don't fucking remember that at all, and none of the characters seem to react as if it got destroyed. Like I thought they were just crying because the forest was burned.
oh yeah, no, that it felt like it not seeing it all. That's what I got gathered was like just the sheer destruction that's happening. And I wasn't clear. Was this like a bomb they dropped to start
No,
landing, or was it just?
so it was just the like fire from the thrusters from the ship's landing.
It was that bad? It's destroying 1,000 foot tall trees and shit. What the
I guess
fuck?
that's something. Yeah,
It
I was a
seemed
little.
nuclear.
No, these were huge think like Star Wars separatist ships. Like these were huge fuckers coming in. So I guess that's the impression I got anyway with it.
Whoa, Sherry, how's
Oh,
it going?
Sherry, hello, hello.
Yeah, we're getting deep and dirty in
So,
Pandora.
so we'll have to double check, or somebody else could confirm later or something for us with if the home tree got destroyed. Because if it did, they did not show the impact of that enough, and it would be kind of the thing that I agree with. That'd be a problem. Is like, oh, they defended this in the last film, and then it's destroyed here. I'd be like, that
It
takes a
was.
lot of the
I
breath
just
away from the
googled it.
first one.
I just googled it. In Avatar, the home tree of the Amantakaya clan was obliterated by the RDA's security forces using high explosive missiles after driving Navi out with tear gas. Oh no, home tree. We're thinking of like the mother tree, like the
I'm
connection
trying to
tree.
think of I'm trying to think of the like nerve tree. I don't think that was destroyed.
Yeah, the Awad tree.
I feel like they didn't react like it was.
Yeah, God. Okay, so I like how so here was a problem I thought of that felt unaddressed so far. Maybe like because this movie's very much about like away from where we've been, and it stays at like this one event for for the rest of the movie, and then we're waiting to see like the aftermath in the sequel. But they show quick the new settlement. It's just sterile and machinery and skyscrapers are building with uh spider droids and whatnot. um where was it? I'm trying to think. There's so
Or
much.
the human colony and what they were building there, and quickly and within a year.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this can put a building up in 6 days. It's like, Jesus Christ. um no wonder Earth's fucked. The God, it's like round to my tongue. I can't think of like what I was trying to say about that, but um yeah, Stephen Lang, so Colonel Quadric, he's back. So this is a problem I thought of. Okay, the guerrilla warfare thing. It felt like a problem because they're taking out supply lines, but it seems like ultimately they should be planning to like destroy the settlement and get intel, recon, try to
Yeah, they're
infiltrate.
doing things more reactionary than like doing real plans.
This idea of like we're just gonna like hit and run their supplies and it's like eventually they're just gonna send a huge payload of soldiers and weaponry
Yeah,
to stop this
the,
because this is what we gather a little bit we know about Earth is like Earth is fucked and we're trying to inhabit a new place. So it's like a yeah, so this is a problem too overall with the world
Yeah.
so far is we don't know enough about Earth and we don't have any like they're just like, oh, Earth's fucked, so we're trying to build here. And there should be a conflict of interest for the audience because we're people. We're supposed to be following Jake and his family and care about him, but we have an attachment to Earth because we are humans.
Yeah, we should care about human. There should have been human families on these ships
Yeah, it's
instead of
just
just military and corporate boss things. And that's what I find annoying about it is because we're not seeing enough of humanity from humans that are, and we don't. It doesn't seem dire enough. It doesn't seem. It's just like another day job. And I'm like, no, I get it, but we need to see that this is important, not just we're farting for trying to get some material. It's like no. This is like this is really important that you establish here. Like
yeah, like that's what works for Dance with the Wolves is you're following one guy going out in the frontier. And he's using the army as a job to do that, and then he gets involved with the indigenous and finds like a common view of the world and whatnot, and changes alliances. So you never are concerned with the outside perspective, but in reality, despite the horrible carnage and chaos that the white man made for the West and almost destroying Buffalo, for instance, the life source of most of those Indians in the plains, it was a job. They were doing this to survive. The slaughter of herds with just being skinned and not even being utilized like the Indians, they used every part they could. Um, it's treacherous, but when you're just the common white man trying to settle the country and this is something to pay the bills to establish yourself, um if you're looking at a whole world, like that is the reality. It wasn't uh a internal enmity by the settlers. It was a way of life. It was, this gets me a payday and thus I can live. But in this film, sure, we're following Jake Sully and their struggles with the invasion, and he's kind of part of that initially. But yeah, besides Quadric being a military guy, you get no sense of like the direness. It's just like, yeah, we're coming here and we're gonna fucking strip the place bare, just like Earth.
I,
And there should be a sense of like, hey, we need to colonize because we have nowhere else to go. We got to start fresh. We have technology, so we can get ahead of the game way quicker than our forefathers. But we need to. We can't breathe without these masks. We got to like terraform this to
we'll be
our.
evacuating Earth soon. We need to get this ready.
Yeah, and that's why you should watch Dance with Wolves, because you get the direness of like, all right, there's this kind of two-sided war, and they screw the planet, and so they're
Well,
leaving because there's
they might
nothing to
be
sustain us.
heading to that in future films, but I don't know if they really will. Like that's what I'm a little worried about because they're focusing so highly on the Navi, which is great, but humanity plays a strong role in the plot as well. And I mean, I'm cool with them having evil military guy, but I wish there was at least a contra. This is why more time would be nice for them. 3 hours is nothing. I wish there was like a second military unit where there's like a more down to earth kind of guy or something that's like he's worried about the state of the planet, his family. He wants things to be good. He does not want there to be a war here either. Like something where he doesn't have to be like oh, I'm super nice guy to the Navi, but at least he's not like if they showed a human showing some kind of respect that a Navi could notice, and it's like, oh, this guy wasn't being a douche to the environment. He's not all humans are bad kind of thing, I
Yeah,
guess.
if you
Like,
showed like human existence where it's like, oh, my dad, toiled on Earth doing X job to punch out eventually and get his pension, and by the time that happens, the company evacuated Earth, and so there's no money and we're screwed. So like I've had to be proactive to not be like that.
or
You
like
know?
a medic or something, like healing some injured Navi from battle and sending them back to their, or something like that, like where they can see themselves, or if they even had like a Navi prisoner, like show some type of understanding with the Navi people or with the way the environment interacts with them. Like, have it be where these humans clearly don't fucking understand how things work on our planet here. They're so opposite. They rely on their machines while we connect with the planet. Like, it's just totally different. And I
Yeah.
don't know, like, but again, that could be a whole fucking movie itself. So I understand. James Cameron must be like, God, I can only do 3 hours in a film. Fuck me, it's not enough. Like, I bet
Yeah.
that he would probably want this to be a show, but he needs to make his money back. So I don't know. It's a tough one.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, again, like that's the shortcoming of the Avatar series thus far is that there's so much to do and only so much time and money. And,
Yeah,
and so
see
you got to
the kids
like
grow up. I wouldn't
focus
I
it.
wouldn't mind seeing the kids grow up, like, instead of just bulldozing to them being where they are now. I'm
Yeah,
like,
instead of a
well,
montage like, oh, actually growing and taking them
I'm
hunting
like,
for
this
the
is
first
like
time.
Tarzan, but cool. Like,
um God, I remember watching that
well,
fucking
it's
show.
like I liked the aspect of Spider, like, the human boy who's, kinda like a feral boy, but it's like, seeing him interact with the environment seamlessly, like humans could, adapt this type of way, like, move like the monkey people, but still he still seemed to have a level of intelligence that wasn't like "I'm dumb Tungus," like, he I don't know, he may seem like a limited character, but there's room for growth here. And the fact that his decision to save the Marine guy, the court, what the fuck's his name? The bad guy,
Quadrich.
Quadrich. Like the fact that he saved him. Like some people would go, "Oh my god, that's so stupid," and "Oh, the Natiri bitch, I fucking hate her." It would be like, "Oh, how stupid of you! I should have killed you," or something. Well, that doesn't matter. He made a moral decision. Like that guy is alive. I could just swim away. He's a douchebag, but he's helpless here. I'm going to save him. Like that's a good moral character for this one who's also like completely outcast. He just got cut by his potential like stepmom. Like I don't know. Like he was about to be killed by her, and all he wanted to do was save the other girl. The selfless kid here. Like this, I don't know.
Yeah,
This
that's
this
got to
kid,
be a
I like this kid.
that'll be I wish they got a little bit of a better actor, but yeah, he was a good character. He did well. I just he felt too I don't know, funny. You know what's funny was a freaking what's his name? Nate was barely in this, and then the Indian guy or whatever, he literally had like one line, it's like, "But if we don't do this, she'll die." And it's like, all right, forget that guy ever was in the movie.
I like too. They're like, "Shut up, bitch. We don't need you guys in the movie. Fuck off."
Well, honestly,
There's a
I
lot of
like
other
how they
characters.
I like how they cut to like the shaman scene with when after she drowned and they're trying to fix her because she's still unconscious. Because it's like, yeah, 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 your medicine, your machines, they're reading everything, but it's like you don't know Navi, you know. It's
But
like
again, it was
there's
like a biological thing that happened. It wasn't a, "Yeah, my machines will fix." No.
yeah.
No, no.
So Quadric, when you told me that, I'm like, no way. I figured it would just be backflash some with Jake Sully as a human.
Nope, fully back in the
They're
game.
like, oh yeah, so we stored all your memories like an X-Men plot with Professor X in the newer X-Men stories. And if you die, we got a avatar body for you to upload your memory. And it's like that he filmed a video for himself to be like, this is where you're at, son. And you see corporate guy for a second in the video where it's like, yeah, we got this chip here, it's got all your shit, we're gonna load it into the avatar body. If you die, we'll be good. And it's like, wait, so this was available um during the first movie. So
No,
this is
no,
like a
they said it was growing.
no. I get that his body was available or was growing in the first movie, but I'm saying this technology
Oh, the
of
technology, right.
uploading your memories to then
Oh,
put in
yeah,
a new
that's kinda
body.
skirted by a
It's like,
little
wait,
much.
wait, wait. This so
Wait,
not only have you
he just
figured out
got your memories.
avatar gene splicing to make the
Okay,
bodies to
wow.
VR through, but you also can upload people's memories. And it's like, well, you could just do that with a new human body. You could just clone yourself and re-upload
Oh,
yourself into a new body.
that oh.
and they just breeze by it, and it's like, wait, so what is this Avatar thing?
Yeah,
Even like,
I almost kind of fucking I just totally skirted over that myself. Of like, oh, derp, he's in body derp. But no, this actually would be an interesting plot of this movie of like them trying to understand the Navi's connections to things so they can, or at least I don't know, something.
that's what I was saying
I
last
feel like
night about
I
the connector. That they can
yeah, like if
connect
this
to
was
Earth, and it's like they
if
kind of
you
have
can
something like this
if you
already.
can store your you can just do the same thing as oh, that's kind of a knock against this now a little bit with that. That's the
Yeah,
oof.
no, that took me the whole
There's
time. I
a
mean, I
lot of good
enjoyed it.
stuff in this film, but we're gonna critique it too, you guys. There's still some issues.
Yeah, I was like, all right, this is cool, but you just breeze by it, and hey, we'll shoehorn in Quadric back because we want to bring Stephen Lane
I
back,
I
and
s
it's like I'm cool with it. I thought he was cool as an Avatar. Um, I thought his scarring for his human scene was a little too nice and clean compared to the first film. Like they just kind of rushed that scene.
yeah,
But overall, yeah, this is false. Honestly, all the CGI seemed better than the live action, besides the like water stunts, where people were
yeah,
getting bombarded in the flooding. That was cool.
yeah. But
Yeah, no,
hold
I
on, hold real quick. I still wanna stay on the corporal for now, for a sec, because I have something to say too. So,
you mean the
uh,
colonel?
whatever. Uh,
Big difference in chain of command, buddy.
Colonel,
Corporal is like
corporal,
whatever.
whatever, colonel
Colonel, it's
man,
like, whoa,
colonel boy, or
your
marine
next
boy.
stop's a general. Like,
Anyway, like, so I'd be more okay with it if in the first film if the science guy was like, "Oh, by the way, so okay, the memory thing, that we're just gonna have to skirt by it and accept that that's what it is for now." Be like, "Yeah, so we're gonna have a memory thing in an avatar body grow for you back home." I would have liked to see him be kind of pissed at that even thought of like, "What the fuck did you just fucking say?" Well, yeah,
it's like I said yesterday.
you were in cryo. We got your memories and have a backup plan. You want to put my fucking memories into the head of these blue monkeys? I'm not gonna. Only if you die. I'm not gonna fucking let that happen, kind of a thing. Like I would have liked to see that type of reaction. And like, oh, you need to record for him. You want me to fucking tell this blue monkey version of me how to be? Like I would have appreciated that or something. Like
It's
that
like
would
I
make it
just
feel
said
more.
with the American History X. Like in here, you're the nigger,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like
That's what we're
he's
talking about
literally like,
last
"Oh
time. Yeah.
no, I'm in their body. Oh, grouse! I hate it." Like,
He sort of reacted that way, but then again, it's skirted over quickly because people like, oh, this is too long and too boring. It's not slow enough. We need to see
I
things happen.
honestly, I
Ah,
thought what would happen, and maybe this will be 3, is that especially because of his son being essentially Navi, he's adopted the
the
ways and he
human
lives
boy
with them.
Navi, yeah.
I'm assuming, and I thought this would be in the film, is like, all right, he's going to tranquilize a banshee and take it instead of doing it the right way, and making the bond organically and catching it, fighting it. Um, I thought with this whole like we got to get native and walk like them, talk like them, blah blah blah, do everything,
They barely
and
did anything with that.
I thought what was going to happen was slowly he kind of sees exactly what Jake Sully, what turned him, you know.
A
I
little bit. I'm glad they didn't fully do that, but they should have. They didn't really. They only showed him do that part, and then that was like, okay, the native part's done now. It's like, wait, you? That's it? Like, there's I don't know. Could have been something else. Again, they this is what its main flaw is that it doesn't spend enough time on things. That sucks because I'm like
monkeys,
the
that's
whole
bluest.
the whole him being the Navi. I mean, I thought it would have been cool too to show his difference in strength level. Like, go to his gym that he would normally work out at, and it's like, fucking, he's got to bench a shit ton more, and it's like, oh, this is fucking nice,
Dude,
or
military
I'd want him to be like, let me see your exo shit. Let me see if I can arm wrestle that thing. Like, test his strength.
that I thought it was funny. I really hate the first films, most of their tech for humans. Like we talked about the stupid double cockpit ship and all that. But I really hate, as much as I hate that suit that he's wearing to fight and whatnot. I hate the non-suit just like the stilt suit that they wear more because
It's like even less.
it's like, wait, you went cheaper?
Well, hold on, no,
Like,
I thought those were more for moving materials, not soldiers.
still, but like they were on the ship at the end fighting with them.
No, you're
Like
right,
they
but
were
I
ready, and so it's like I get like if it's like, all right, this is like a forklift at a warehouse. This is I need my
yeah, I need my
suit to move
suit to
stuff.
yeah,
Okay,
but
I mean it
that's
looks
fine with me.
stupid, but okay. But then it's like, oh, the general's just walking around in it, and then
Oh, you're right. Oh, yeah,
yeah,
they were.
and
Oh,
she's drinking
yeah,
her
they're
coffee with
she
it,
was
and it's
combat
like
ready with it. Oh, you're
cringe.
right. Yeah, that is kinda lame.
Eh, God, that was worse. But dude, that whale ship, that was pretty cool. I like the whale ship and the submarines. It's like, okay. I like this like kind of practical. It's new and different, but it's kind of like how Lucas does Star Wars, where it's like, all right, people need to see it and instantly understand how it works and its function, even though it's not real.
Yeah.
And most of the text is that
It's
the
almost like
suit,
the helicarrier too. It's like, yo, it's this
I thought
huge
it was gonna fly. I honestly thought they were gonna fly with it or submerge with it. And it's just no, it's just a ship with can warp speed, Captain. Like,
yeah, I'm like, that's fine. It doesn't need to not every ship needs to be also a submarine and also a spaceship, it's
I mean, it
fine,
would make
it's
a lot of
fine.
sense to have it submersible.
Or to be multi,
Yeah.
go in space, go in the air, go in
I mean, yeah,
on
they
land.
literally have spaceships and flew to a new
It
planet.
makes
So
it
it's
easier
not
to
far
navigate
fetched.
the planet if it has multiple terrain, essentially. But anyway, the colonel?
Yeah, Colonel.
I
There you go.
keep on
You're
wanting to
like,
say
Is it
corporal.
right? Is it right? Did I get the rank? Oh God.
I'll admit the names stick the least with me when I
Well,
just watch a movie, like,
with
they are.
the Colonel, when they show his team of dead Marines that have backup avatars that were being
Were
made,
they in the first film? I don't remember them at all.
I assume or sure, everyone else was forgettable besides like the dumb white guy from Daredevil. Everyone else, like, no one stuck out. So I assume, well, regardless, the military, the chick in his squad with the tattoos and like the hawk or whatever, I thought, whoa, that's pretty hot. Now, like, they even have a scene where she just like pops her bubble gum. I'm like, oh, darling, I love you.
It's all good. It's done all
Like
right
the
there.
perfect blend of, she's a
But
Navi, but then, she's like a
yeah.
human chick. And it's like, that's cool.
Yeah, well, see, it's like that's I don't think that they understand how this would be interesting to see is, like, watching them adjust to being Navi now, to being in their avatar bodies, and it, like, just the differences. Again, like, it seems small, but they kinda just jump right into battle
Yeah, well, it's
right after
like
they're in their bodies. I'm like, this is Marines in these huge, super strong bodies now. I wanna
also
see.
they have tattoos, so it's like, wait, it seems like they were just now aware of this, and it's like, oh, well, while you're growing that, could you like tattoo X, Y, and Z so like I've personalized my body.
Well, do they have tattoo artists on board? Like, what's the
Exactly,
I don't
it's
think
a
that would have been I
detail.
don't think that'd be a necessary thing to bring to the
It's a detail where it's
era.
like it makes sense if they showed time and like the day to day a bit of like, oh yeah, we got, I don't know, 2 months of training to get accustomed to the body and whatnot.
Yeah, have them
So then
fucking climb trees and shit, like, I don't
it's like,
know.
wait, this is new. Technically, you're actually dead, and this is a new person with just the memories of the dead Marine, and it's personalized with tattoos, and they're like doing military cuts and shit. It's like,
Well, and seeing him, grapple more I mean, they do a decent job at seeing him kinda grapple with the fact that he was dead, and now he is this fucking blue monkey thing. Like, they do okay with that, but I feel like it's still not enough. Like, I guess
well,
because, like, House of Dragons is able to take its sweet ass time, and it's so fucking good for that. I want that with, like, this. I'm like, "I know, we need to no, we need to have this," and, like, with the water tribe, I'm like, "Oh, like, this is like the prince and the princesses doing the thing, and they just did oh, fucking the drama here. Let's go." But it's like, "No, no, no." It doesn't focus like that, but
sort of, Curtis, about the skin tones or whatever. Um, I didn't notice this in the trailer, but um, the water people, um, they have a different color. They're more aquatic blue colored. So it seems like maybe blue thus far is the baseline of their species, but there's, you know, think of like speciation. So humans have speciation with races. Like people have like kind of stuck in pockets, and that's where you get races. Like Asians, like yellow Asians, they've been like in the steppes and whatnot in like East Asia, and then you get like Arab Asians that are like brown, and white people in the north, black people on the equator of Africa, Indians, coming from Asia across the land bridge. Um, so you get species. There's a specific like tribe or pocket in Mexico. They're like high in the mountains, and they have a very sparse vegetation and food and whatnot. And so they have like a really slow metabolism. But when you put them in cities, they get fat and get diabetes really easy because of their genetics. So, with that understanding, watching this movie, and they've included physical like phenotypes to show speciation of the overall species of Navi, where it's like the water Navi have like more like
You got slightly thicker skin. It looks
fish
like.
tails, like they got like a paddle tail, um, like a shark, not like with the fins, but they have like like an eel, that kind of tail.
Yeah, they got their
Versus
forearm
like the cat
fins.
tail for the tree folk, and then you got
Yeah,
they got like a wider forearm to kind of be like a flipper and things like that. On top of being like a more aquatic blue, that was a cool detail I didn't know. So I watched this and I'm like, oh, and their eye color's different. And they got like kind of Polynesian style tattooing in their culture, and I guess they even tattoo the whales. I guess the whales let them tattoo them. That
no,
was
no, no,
interesting.
no. The whales have their own tattoo artists because
Oh, I was waiting
they're
for like a real
intelligent.
detail. Like,
They're intelligent.
oh,
They said they're intelligent and do math and music, so they have tattoo artists as well.
yeah.
Why
Well,
not?
Russia's kind of split. You got like the European Russians, and then across the Urals, you got like the Siberians, the kind of Indian Russians. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's again, they got like speciation within one country's borders because of barriers, and over time, people kind of stay clustered more or less, and so that's where you get like specific people. So that's kind of cool. I like
yeah.
that. I want to see what they do. Um, if there's like a desert part of Pandora or something like,
Well, yeah, I mean that's what's cool too. If this is anything like Earth, it's got multiple ecosystems. And there's the snowmen of Avatar, or what it's
yeah,
of
exactly.
Pandora
Like
or
maybe they're
something.
more hairy or
Like
something.
it's just like how humans have their different differentiations. Yeah, like you're just listing, the Avatar seem to have some of their differences based on their region and location as well, which is good. These are details that fucking nerds like us love. Just like with the breathing applied the whole time. Every time they go underwater, they take a breath. It's like it's details that would be lost in a lesser movie. They just go, "Oh fuck it, who cares?" After
Yeah,
after a
there's
certain
that
point.
woman that swims with dolphins. She's like trained her body to like hold her breath for like 7, 8 minutes underwater.
Yeah,
So training your body for a certain environment is a real thing, just like the Mexican idea I stated, which is like weird that I ever learned that. It's like in a evolution video. But yeah, details like that where it's like this is not just, oh, we're on Tatooine and these are the desert people, the sand people. They're like the Indians, they're nomads. And then you got colonizers that come to the Outer Rim. They're just like the everyday Star Wars person. Like that's about as deep as you get in Star Wars, which is fine because it's way more like cosmological kind of story. But and you watch it, there's a range, but there's shallow depth versus this. It's all about this planet, and details like this make it more believable and more complex and more applicable to like back and forth with fiction and nonfiction. Um, yeah, I really appreciate
yeah,
that.
it's good, and the detail that they put into so much of this is just it's appreciated with the movie because it doesn't, it's something to keep in mind, and some people might not notice as much or think of it as much of a big deal, but Like they had Jake even mention himself that he is a human. He was a human, but he's like nobody would question that he's a Navi now. He adapted. He's
Yeah,
able
because
to.
like when he has kids, the kids have 5 fingers instead of 4, like the Navi, and so that's like a sign of they're demon blood, they're hybrids, they're disgusting.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I was referring to like the way that he was able to adapt to the way that the Navi live, and they were like, "Oh, you're different here." They were saying, "Oh, your tail, your arms, you're skinny, all that stuff. That you won't be able to do anything here." And he's like, "Yeah, we can. Like, I did it myself. I was a human. I was able to do this." And you could even look at Spider. Like, you'd think there's no way he can just jump out in the freaking forest like the rest of the Navi. Well, he does. He can keep up. So.
Wait, Curtis. I don't know if this is supposed to be together or not, but I read it that way. There's a culture that lives on stilts in the ocean. They fish only and can hold their breath on than other races. And then I read it together, just like in Dance of the Wolf.
I think that's yeah.
Oh, that got me.
Yeah, I don't think
Whether or not
I'm trying to think about what people would reference this as being similar to.
Pearl Harbor.
God damn it. I think some people didn't like that the like whale killing scene was pretty long. The way I saw it was, kind of like with the first film, where like it's not just simply, oh, it's a dumb whale. Here we are. It's like, no. These creatures are not just a dumb creature to the people on this planet. They are very much more important. They're not just like, oh, I squished an ant. Whatever. Who cares?
Wait, really quick. All right, so you sent me that thumbnail of, I assume, fucking Shadiversity.
Yeah.
All right, so animals cannot. Was that just clickbait, or was he trying to make like the whale scene some sort of like
I assume that's I
bestiality?
assume that was a clickbait thing. I don't think that he actually thinks that it's bestiality, but I don't know. I didn't see his whole video, so.
But yeah, like
From what I
I was
saw,
that was in the back of my head, and so when I saw the gland thing, and then he connects with it, the bond, it's like, wait, was this supposed to be sexual? Is that what he was crying about?
well, and
Because
regardless, the whale did fucking consent if that's the case.
and it's like, well, I mean, they're
That's their
sentient.
thing.
They're
Well,
sentient. Like
but
there's this
that's what I'm
whole they have a
saying. Yeah.
philosophy. Okay, so apparently we've moved from unobtainium, even though they're still mining, and that's like where the routes that they're derailing in their guerrilla warfare is going to mine settlements outside of their main base. So they mention mines. So that's still a thing. But the new thing that apparently is paying for everything is they are whaling these avatar whales, because when they drill into their head, they get this oil that is apparently can help like stop aging, which is really, again, I want to see Earth. So
That
then
seemed
it's
like
like,
another throwaway line. I was just like, what?
yeah,
It had
and yeah,
nothing to do with
they're like,
anything.
yeah, this bottle of oil is worth like $80 million on Earth. That's what's paying for all of this. Also, in that, so they got like this whaling operation, which is very much like a modern sci-fi take on like Moby Dick, which I thought was cool. They have a marine biologist with them who is the Flight of the Concords guy. The guy who did the crab voice in Moana. Um, and it's like he's doing all this studying. He's like, yeah, they're actually smarter than us. They have more synapses. They got a bigger proportion wise. They got a bigger prefrontal cortex, etc., which is kind of what separates us from other animals. And it's like, wait, if you have the science and you know this, you think you'd be doing way more than just this menial like resource gathering to send back to Earth
Well,
for trade.
that's what Angus and I are confused with, because like the memory thing is like that seemed like something important specific to the Navi stuff, and it's like no, whatever. That's just a thing we have as well. Huh?
Oh my god. Curtis says, obviously thematically they're saying one can have a connection with animals, not the other thing. Yeah, well,
Well, that's the thing too. They make it clear that their connection stuff is not sexual. It's like plugging in a USB. It's you're linking, you're syncing. You're not sexing.
yeah, but given that there's like within this world and the fact that these whales like interact with the Navi. They have bonds. They're like, oh hey, yeah, oh this dead well, oh she's mated for seasons to try to have this calf, and they've slaughtered her after she's finally done it. We've connected. She's the singer of songs, a great composer. Like there's a real what we think of like a human to human connection. So in this world, even if that was where they were going, um, not a problem in my book with the uh, parameter of Avatar rules. But also because that thumbnail, this was in my head the whole time of waiting. Like, all right, when does this consent with animals scene take place? Controversy that I'm expecting. And so when he does, I was waiting for it to be like a Bond,
Yeah.
you know. And
Let
it
the
wasn't. I'm like,
wailing
God
begin.
damn it! I fucking hate. Oh, also, did you notice anything? But besides all the bad guys wailing, they're all white, of course. That's probably a Disney thing. Besides like one Asian lady, but yeah, I didn't notice anything woke in this movie. If anything, it's ultra conservative because it's all
Yeah,
about family and having children.
yeah.
It's very counter to and the
I haven't heard it.
responsibility
I
of it.
haven't heard any woke arguments yet.
Oh, this whole like see Ryan Kindle thumbnails is like environmentalism, they're
No,
propaganda, but it's like
he actually liked the film. He said he thought he was gonna hate this film, and he actually really liked it.
well, I don't know what the you could just not like it, be bored by it because you're an idiot or
Yeah,
whatever. But
I've heard, the Shad and them were said it was boring.
oh my god, I was watching it and I'm like, this does not feel like 3 hours. Like what I'm getting, it's again completely opposite of the Batman, where it's like the time run 2.5 hours. It feels like it once you get to the 2 hour mark because they tack on like half a plot at the end for another
Yeah,
movie.
this all flowed pretty this is pretty focused, like,
Yeah, it
oddly
had a
enough.
good roller coaster pacing of all right, here's the high point and we're low and we're taking our time. Dude, the fact that like there was certain shots but in the water that they did of like it wasn't slow mo, just close-ups. And it was like, God damn, like the detail that they've put into this movie is jaw dropping. Like as much as I love Thanos and look wise and as a character, god damn, like this is the bar. This is the
Yeah,
bar.
I I like Shad and everything, Shadversity, but I disagree with a lot of his takes on this film. One of his things he said was that it feels like the film is jerking itself off to its visuals, and
Oh
I'm
no,
kind of
it definitely
I'm
is.
kind of
And
like,
I love it.
yeah, but it's not. And he's like, oh, it's just like more of the same of the first one. I'm just like, I don't know how you can look at that and just see that as like, oh yeah, it's just totally the
Oh
same.
no, it's the best CGI ever made. Oh
Well,
god, they're doing it
and
again.
what so like what I'm trying to get at here, right here, is like the
Fuck.
parts that people think are boring are like, I assume, because I was actually like, what's the boring part? I don't fucking know. I assume it's like when the one son is like, hanging out with the whale that's outcast, or when they're, just learning how to swim in general and interact with the different creatures, going to the different places. We're getting a lot of character development. We're getting a lot of, you go back and forth with the marine and the spider and everything. Like, I don't know. You're getting a lot of. I think they could have done more as far as like drama, maybe. Like again, like, House of Dragons. I'm thinking of like, oh, the chief's son, Sully's kids. Like, they're the royalty essentially. There could have been some kind of drama, I guess, but for what they're showing, I think it was fine. And they did have a little bit. Like, the kids got in a fucking fight and ditched him out there and everything. Like it, there was some cause and effect of their actions here, and
Yeah, I
characters.
did not
Again, like,
expect the whale to pop in when that was happening. Like, I instantly saw what was going to happen. It's like, we're going to ditch him. And then, oh, right when we ditch him, there's going to be calamity. I was waiting for him to get killed. And then it'd be like
yeah,
this
like
big
this
thing
huge
at the
traumatic.
tribe. It's
Yeah,
like,
same
you
here.
playing this joke got this guy killed. He's already got enough stress trying to hide out. And we're dealing with this, peace among us.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna maybe do that too, and I was like, oh, the element that he has to hold his breath longer underwater is like, like, man, you're
I
hidden,
was
but you gotta go air. Like, oh, that's a great. I like that. It's not
Yeah,
super.
it was good in, mid-range intensity.
Yeah,
Um, because sure, this is distributed by Disney, but this is James Cameron doing what he wants.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to expect because like anyone theoretically is um open to getting killed. And so I'm like a little bit on the edge of my seat. I'm like, oh, they, are they gonna do it? And then the one thing I'm like, I don't know about this was just a kind of a science thing of like, given how small he is, I don't think a thing this big would put so much effort to get
Yeah.
such a small bite.
That's how I feel in every fucking Jurassic Park or World movie when they have a T-Rex, like, just, like, getting out of breath to chase these little things that you could pick out of his teeth. It's just like, "Bro, you got bigger game, than this." In Jurassic
So
Park
the thing
3
eats Triceratops. He's chasing
in
people.
Jurassic Park 3, it was literally eating a corpse of a huge animal and then decides to ditch it and chase after its small prey. It's like,
Oh, that's so stupid. Like
"No."
lions or hyenas, tigers, when they kill something, they see other things, they growl like, "Get the fuck away from my
Yeah, they're
food."
just like, "I don't care who you are. I'm eating
They
my
will
food, thank you."
the effort they put in is to like get away from me, get away from my
Yeah.
kill.
Well, and as when he speared the mouth, I think it'd be like, "Oh, fuck, I got hurt. Fuck. This isn't this is I was just gonna grab a little bite with this little thing.
You
I
know
got
what? It's
hurt. Ow."
exactly they just copied Star Wars because there's always a bigger
Bigger
fish.
fish. Yeah, I don't know. Like, so that's a little thing that kind of bugs me, but it's a small type of thing,
Yeah, no,
and
it's just
it's unfortunately a cliche thing that happens in every fucking movie. So it's like I can't fault this movie too much for doing
but
the
at
same
least
thing.
in this one, when the well happened, uh there's you get a bigger plot where
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
I
oh,
had the
here's a
same thing.
well, and oh, he's actually sentient, and then he's outcast because he led a tribe and whales to counterattack when they've agreed to never kill, and uh so that's why he's an
I
outcast.
liked that element too. It's a whale that made this fucking choice. It's like,
And
what?
the well is a huge part of the movie in the second half. The
It's
fact that this
actually a
kid made
huge
the
plot
bond.
point. Yeah,
If it wasn't for the whale, this movie would have been completely
if it
different.
wasn't for the kid being, trying to make peace with the other sons and then it being, left out there to die or, have a prank on him or whatever, like it's a good portion of events that are like it's not too contrived. I'd say it just, the way that it happens. I mean, they're lucky that it happens this way, but it's also this kind of thing that caused them to get caught in the first place when they were trying to save the whale, and then they got caught. Like if they didn't meet the whale, they wouldn't have been trying to save this whale. So, like I don't know. There's if somebody were to try to say like oh if they didn't meet this whale is like a huge plot. If somebody were to say it's like a plot hole somehow with this fucking whale, I'd be like, well, if they never met the whale, then they just probably wouldn't have been captured as easily for the third act. But
Yeah, the one thing in the well that made me like kind of cringe was the amount of smart, like it felt like they're used to hunting these things, and I get that in history, like Moby Dick's famous fiction because it's based on a real story in the South Pacific of a whale counterattacking a boat and leaving everyone stranded and cannibalism happened. um but the way they showed them getting hunted like in a pod where you would think the most smarts would happen in a pod, like actual whales pass on their knowledge somehow. um and so whales that survive whaling attacks, or that they've like learned to avoid those waters, and they have like countermeasures in evading, and that somehow they pass it on. So like, yeah, whales learn what humans do, and the survivors and the next generations maintain that.
yeah,
So with that,
you're right.
when you got a sentient thing that's communicating and understands sign language of another species,
You think they'd show more intelligence from the
when they're
species?
getting hunted, you would think dive. And I get that, like, oh, they shoot death charges
You think
and
they'd
whatnot.
show that you think they'd show they throw the charge in there and then one of the whales like fucking tries to swallow it so the others aren't hit or something like so some type of reaction to it, some type of move or like they shoot the things in the water and one's ready to fucking smack it back out or something
Yeah.
like
Also, this is another problem with like everything is kind of rushed to get us.
Yeah,
The
I say
idea that
rushed and dumbed down for the whole like public audiences for the average
yeah,
audience.
like so humanity at this one base that we gather in the first movie where like they've only really, let's say they got like a 20-mile radius of knowledge of Pandora thus far in their colony that they're building. And then the Navi counterinsurgency and kick them out. And then they decide to send more and come back because we need to because Earth's fucked. And then, oh, look, now they're whaling. And it's like they got a marine biologist for Pandora. And you would think they wouldn't be this quick with whaling, like this is a whole new element on the planet that we're learning, and they're already like proficient at taking out whales.
Yeah, that's the problem with how quickly it moves. We're just like, God, no, and I didn't care about the brain juice they're trying to get out of it to the stop aging thing. I'm like, that is so fucking irrelevant to anything happening. And like you could have just said it was for food. Like, I don't know,
Well, like they
for food
hunted whales.
or for whatever other purposes you use whales for. It doesn't
Yeah,
need to
like
be.
whales were
It doesn't need to
hunted
be.
for.
Doesn't need to be just stops aging. Like, okay, that's adorable, but fuck, like
It's like
now that's in
that's
my
a huge
head
idea.
on top of the memories you guys can download from humans, and then the Navi thing, and like Jesus, tap dancing Christ, how can't that be like on another moon or planet that isn't on this one where there's a thing like that? Like,
It's like you
I don't
already
know.
got
That's a
these
little.
super trees
This is like a
and
super planet now.
connectivity with
If
this
you
indigenous, and then you got super whales
if they
that are
add another
smarter
thing,
than us.
if they add another element in the next one that's like like another this thing makes you invincible. I feel like stop it, please. No, no,
And
no.
then
You're
also,
adding too much.
they conveniently for the plot have these like angel wing jellyfish things that can help you breathe longer underwater.
I was kind of okay with that.
Well, I was okay with it, but it's like when you start stacking up like
No, you're right.
elements
With all
that
these
are
different no,
convenient
you're right.
or that
Yeah.
are fast
The
forwarded to.
stacking is the problem because it's like, okay, have this thing and this thing. Don't add this, that, and
It
this.
feels kind of
It's
like
a little
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where it's like not only is Leonidas descended from Atlanteans, and so his spear is super powered, and that's probably something behind his stand against the Persians, but also your main character is his grandson, and also he's the son of um oh, what is it? The of Pythagoras, who is like the keeper of the staff for Atlantis. So
it's just
Atlantis
like
is a real thing.
fuck
And
all
then
these things.
also your sister, or if you play the other way, your brother is the leader of the cult of Cosmos, or like the enforcer. He's like the Darth Vader of cult of Cosmos. Um, and you start stacking all these things for one character story. And it's like, gee, what? Oh, I mean, it's not that ridiculous, but you start stacking these like scientific ideas in your world, and potentially, I mean, luckily there's a cool just environment. But when you start stacking these elements, it starts to like it's going to unravel. Unfortunately, if they keep stacking to like wow us instead of just like telling a more Game of Thrones story of like, oh yeah, there's dragons, there's some magic maybe with like the Lord of Light followers. But ultimately, it's pretty bare bones. It's pretty just medieval with a couple extra elements. And we start adding like these ridiculous sci-fi elements to a pretty grounded nature story. Yeah, and what I want to see is this kind of like you're seeing humanity try to adapt and use this avatar angle and whatnot. Okay, I want to see the Navi become more industrious because it seems like a necessity. This is the problem with Indians. Besides maybe getting guns, they try to stay nomadic and of the earth when they needed to industrialize to counter the enemy. That
Yeah, if you
was
just stick to the sticks, you're not going to be able to beat all these machines and spaceships. Like, what are you going to do when they send in more? They'll just land and burn more forests. And
yeah. They need to do like Godzilla and have a mecha banshee. It's like as cool as Banshee is, and like there's a pro and con to a banshee versus a scorpion chopper. It's like a scorpion chopper, there's like it's all just you in a machine. You're limited with your feel of the environment around you. You're relying on computers that can malfunction versus like a banshee is a living thing of part of this world, but you got to feed it. It's got to take breaks. You can't just pour gas into it. So there's a pro and con. So if you like, I don't know, put guns on a banshee or something, I'm not saying be that ridiculous, but I'm just saying like there's a blend that I think needs to happen to make this believable with humanity really putting all their chips in the Pandora basket.
Yeah, or I mean, if not a mecha thing or industrial, like show more of a different utilization of their bonds with nature to like be more coordinated with it, maybe like intentionally. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I kind of liked how in the water they had uh is Grace's daughter named Kitty or is that a different one?
I think Kiri,
Kiri.
but yeah, it sounded like they said Kitty sometimes.
Yeah, when the baby is
Kiri,
saying
yeah,
it,
it's Kiri.
when the baby said it, it sounded like she said kitty all the time. I'm thinking like monsters saying
And
kitty.
I'm like, that's funny because like they're pretty much cat people.
That is kind of funny, and it just made me think of Monsters Inc. Kitty or whatever. But anyway, so like when she like touched the underwater thing that like grabbed the ship, that's a small thing. I'm like that's an interesting utilization of your bond thing. I kind of like that aspect. You can not just be
Oh,
like
the sea anemone thing. Yeah, that was
yeah, I'm like,
cool.
that's kind of a cool and then the way that she specifically has, like, this extra bond with things, she's, moving her hands around and things are following her, and, she's able to save her mom and sister from there, like, with that ability, like, being she's, like, super in tuned, like, with the environment. So, like, if they're able to do something to that effect, like, better
You know what? You know
coordinate
what it is?
stuff,
She's two spirit. She's the third
she's
gender.
she's double spirit. She's got stacks, but
I'm
but
waiting
anyway
for some weirdo to make that angle.
yeah. Sure, yeah, she's the new gender. She's the
Curtis has a question
trans.
for us.
Sure.
Avatar 2 or T2?
Um,
Terminator 2.
I'd probably say Terminator 2, but
Wow. Fuck
then
no.
I'm hold on, I'm saying I don't know. I can't answer right now. I don't know. I'd have to watch T2 again. I haven't seen T2 in
No.
years.
T2 is good. Sure, you can argue it's great, especially for sequel. It actually ups the ante.
Well, I'm
Um,
so far I'm finding we as much as we're loving this, there's still lots of problems we're
oh
having with
yeah, there's a
this.
lot of
At the moment,
problems.
I have to see T2 again to see how many things I like or don't like. I don't remember enough. I
No,
don't
the
remember
theme
enough of
song's
it.
awesome. The new angle with the T800 and then a
Their
better,
dynamic, the way they fought together, like, reload, drive, shoot, this, that, like,
yeah.
that was
No, it's
a lot
great.
of cool stuff they did
It's a
there.
great like surrogate father robot story.
So
It's
so all
essentially
I'm
the
saying is
Mandalorian.
that's something I'd have to revisit because I don't remember enough
Yeah,
of it,
no,
so
T2 is awesome. It's an all-time great
and
action film.
I just freshly saw this, like, I can't make a decision like that and just like, "Oh, this is totally better." Like, I don't know.
For me, a big chunk of like how I'd rate something is rewatchability. My favorite film's not Avatar, Arrival, and I've only seen it like 3, maybe 4 times, and it's been out for 6 years. So it's not like I gotta watch this every month or something. Endgame and Infinity War, those are up there. Star Wars, Dark Knight, those are probably some of my favorites just because of how much I watch them. But T2, as good as it is in the action and whatnot, it's not like God, I gotta see that again. That's a big factor for me. Avatar 2, I can watch this all the time. Well, it's just kind of a pass in the background. I'm like, God, I'm in the world of Avatar. I'm picking out the extra details, and whatnot. Like it's just so immersive. I stayed for the credits, and it's cool because I'm like, yeah, again, the music, like we talked about, it doesn't like wow you. It definitely doesn't like. They don't have a Star Wars. They don't have a Danny Elfman soundtrack that like sticks out. But um, yeah, I was surprised. Like, wow, The Weeknd did a song for Avatar. This is cool. And I stayed for the credits until like the actual film stuff stopped. And they just showed the actual credits. But um yeah, like it was a movie where I'm like, all right, they're rolling the credits and I'm staying until they actually stop showing me stuff because like I don't want to miss any little detail. And that's definitely a big part of why A2 is way better than T2 for me.
Okay. Makes sense. But
Um
like, so okay, we've just kind of jumped around here
yeah,
and
no,
there.
it's
This one's
it's
hard to go
such a
plot.
big thing to
One's
try
hard
to.
to go plot by plot. That's tough. The kids. I like the kids. In a way, we spent a lot of time with them, but I wouldn't mind seeing fucking more, especially with like the older brother and the younger one. Like those two are fucking. I like the dynamic with those guys, with those two, the older brothers.
Yeah, no, that was cool. I like how the young brother's always getting the older in trouble, um, instead of just doing what dad says. And it's like, ultimately, older brother gets killed because of it, but it was the right decision, I think. There's like this
Yeah,
moral quandary initially of like, it's getting your brother killed, or you could have like, why aren't you listening to me? This kid always listens, and so the middle kid thinks he's not liked. He doesn't feel um a real connection or bond or whatever with his dad. He feels like an outcast, and that's why he relates to this whale that's an outcast, etc. But
I wish that Jake at least at one point had a good down to earth with him, I guess, get down to Pandora moment with him because he was an outcast to the
he
Navi.
literally
He
is
was
a monkey
he was
demon. Like,
literally they were ready to leave him to fucking die. They didn't give a fuck. They were like, you're a demon thing. Fuck you. You can die. And then he had to prove himself and do something very dangerous to win them over and mount a counterattack. His son seems to be in that kind of mindset as well, but is always shunned for it. And it's like I just hope that there's that character's got such good fucking room to grow. To be fair, I did feel a little bit House of Dragony for a moment, like when the kids left him there. It's kind of like, oh, like fucking aim it, if this kid got killed, at this point, like, oh, the drama with that.
oh, like
Uh,
the end. Okay, yeah. I was like, wait, where's he going? I was thinking of when the kid
well,
fight in Avatar or in Game of Thrones.
well,
House of
I,
Dragon.
I meant so I meant like I was referring to like when the chief's kids ditched him. Like
Yeah.
if he ended up being killed at that point, that
I
would have
was
been
waiting for it
like
to be like, I don't know my way back. I'm stuck out in and I was waiting for him to like drown just out of
yeah,
exhaustion because he's
same
stuck
here.
out in the water.
Like, oh, he's dead, and it's like, oh, this is such a huge like political thing here. Now the forest people and the water people are at odds. There's the sky people. It's like, oh shit. But I guess
Avatar 3, The
this is
House of Water.
this is the problem though too with it is that they keep on he even refers to them as sky people, but it's like, my bro, you literally understand humanity. You should understand humanity better than any of them, and should understand what humans will do, why they would do it, and what you could possibly do with the Navi to have at least some type of ceasefire, to have some kind of, hey, you want the material? Well, we'll get it for you in a more humane way or something.
Well,
Like,
once the Navi establish settlements and farming, make an actual nation, then we're going to see um, a trade delegation. I'm waiting for it to advance so far where it becomes like, all right, well, we gotta live with people, and so
that's
you
what I'm
got
kind of
like
saying too. Yeah,
the
it's like,
delegate. Yeah, I'm kind of joking about
but
episode one,
but
Star Wars, but
however, so I think we could get, so that's the thing with how many sequels he plans on doing with this. We could get to that point along the way, but right now we're in the war part. We're in the trying to, the humans are being assholes the way they're trying to, go to this planet, and so there's going to be a lot of fighting. And then maybe at some point though, especially with like characters like Spider and the other human characters that they're okay with and whatever. The amount of people that are using avatars to that are just like like with this type of thing, at some point there might be eventually like you know a type of somewhat thing where they can coexist maybe, or maybe there'll be a fucking another threat that they have to team up and to fight or something.
Dude, just
Hopefully
think if Hitler
I
could have got his hands on the whale oil.
totally. Well, like I'm trying to think of like, we're on Pandora and that's neat and fancy and all, but like what if like Jake and them had to like go to another planet, like, having the different dynamics of what you need to survive just to be wherever in the first place. And then, another fucking alien species that even like the Navi don't fucking know about is like that would be an interesting way to expand the world if they wanted to or something. Or like, maybe the fucking human maybe something, maybe we don't understand why Earth is fucked, but maybe there's fucking aliens fucking things up on Earth, and I don't know, like something going here, but the way that they react is just, oh, we're just, doing our daily doop de doo, and yeah, it just
Yeah,
needs to
there
have
needs to
more
be a
stuff.
grounded character that is human and does not care about the Navi because it's all about like kind of like the mental resolve in BVS when Batman's like, if there's a 1% chance, I have to take it as an absolute like that kind of resolve of like, we're going to die if we don't establish this. We will cease to exist. And so this is the fate humanity faces. There needs to be that character because the more context you add about Earth and, oh, we're doing this new stuff because we need this resource or that resource and we need to colonize here to live as a species, that needs to be a way bigger effect. It would root. It only helps, I think, the franchise of Avatar if you actually have a, like, even though they're the bad guys, the Empire versus the rebels, even though it's way more simple, the Empire's still cool versus the stupid underdog rebels that are just hodgepodge together, you know. Like, you have people want to be Darth Vader, even though he's the bad guy and working for genocidal regime. And you don't have that yet. The one character we got is Jake Sully, who goes full native and essentially disowns everything he was. And then you got evil Colonel that is now stuck in the Avatar body. He's doing the whole humanity thing. Um, and you don't really have any like resolve of well, this is why I'm so deep into this. This is why I will kill any and all Navi to establish a colony.
Yeah, everybody on Earth is counting on us to, pay to put our footprint here and have a future for humanity. Like,
Even if it was just like, I love war and Earth's so fucked that we're all just kind of in the same boat and there's not really a fight anymore, and I can let loose. This is my Vietnam. I can just search and destroy. Even if it was just that, I don't quite get that from them, and that's what's annoying because there's something there that
yeah,
you could do.
it's like they're not sure what to do with him. Like, is he fatherly? Is he not fatherly? Is he full on out to kill? Is he not? Would he, if like Sully were to do what he says, would he still kill the kids or would he let them go? I actually don't know based on his character because we haven't. He says that I would kill them. I don't know that actually. We haven't really seen you do something that harsh. You
Well, yeah,
shot a
because he's
whale.
like,
You had a dude shoot a whale thing, and you threatened to kill the chief chick, but you didn't because your son that you said isn't your son didn't want you to. I don't know your actual lengths to
oh,
do anything. you know, it's
yeah, hey Tim, let me send you the link real quick.
he talks tough, but is he tough? Like, I thought he sort of was, but it seemed like he in the first one he seemed more tough, but that was more as a disadvantage as a human. But now he's, you know what I mean? Like when he, when he
Yeah.
burst the door open, holding his breath and shot his pistol, and then waited to get his mask on. Like that was fucking badass as fuck.
Yeah, sorry, I'm distracted sending Tim this real quick.
Yeah. I don't like Natiri.
You don't like Neytiri?
No.
Why?
She's a hypocritical bitch. She's like
How so?
she's like, she seems to be one that doesn't want to kill pointlessly at all. She was and she was able to take in Jake, who was definitely not a fucking Navi. Was able to get him around, but has like no wanting to have any connection to Spider at fucking all, even though she's done this with Jake already. And then she was willing to kill the boy, like just like out of revenge. I
Oh
don't know.
yeah, no, I
She
totally bought it.
where she was more of a, oh, don't kill things pointlessly either type of one. And, like I don't know, like Jake is she seems to be very stupid, I guess, where Jake's like, dude, you gotta calm down. We gotta be smart. And I guess
Well,
she is a
you're talking about women,
she
and
is a
her son
savage.
just died.
She is a savage, and I get it, but I don't know. The way that she behaves sometimes just seems off to me.
Well, she's a woman, and ultimately. Like that's you're watching. Even though we're watching this whole different, ecology and what. Ultimately, this is a people story, and she's a woman, and one of her kids just got killed, and she happens to be. I don't know if you call her a warrior, but she's definitely a huntress, and um, she has tools to exact revenge. And knowing that he is the son of X character, given her devotion to her children, she understands the hurt. Well, also he's got her, adoptive daughter at the knife, and so it's like, oh well, and I already lost a kid. You got another one about to slaughter, so let's even the odds, buddy. Like that's the gambit that she played. But she, he lets him go or lets her go, and so he's like, all right, all right, all right. I won't do it. Like
I don't
I actually
still I don't know.
he has a Dr. Evil moment where it's like, kill the little bastard, see if I care. And then she's like, oh, okay.
they didn't
I thought she actually cut his throat and she like cut
I
him.
thought so too, which that would have
I
been
was like, oh shit, she really did it.
that's what I thought too. That's what I thought too, but I don't
It's
know.
like she's just so good with that knife that she can just cut his skin.
I just they didn't address it with like he should have been like, why do you hate me? Like that's essentially his mom in a way. That's like raised him.
Well, he's
And it's
disposable.
just like I don't know. They skirted way the fuck over that to me. And she's a fucking bitch. Like I don't know.
Nah, I totally buy it. I mean, you know me, man. That whole
no, I'm not saying that it's flawed. I'm saying I don't like her.
Billy. Well, being a parent, I relate a lot more because that movie we talked about that William Zabka did in Europe with the kid in the train gears,
Yeah.
and it's like, do I save the train of strangers? Or do I save my kid? And it's like, well, I'll do the right thing and kill my kid to save countless lives on that train, and they won't even know it 'cause they just pass by. And it's like, fuck them. I'll make a million Auschwitz before you kill my son. Like that's my devotion to my child is whatever slaughter and torment I have to leave on this earth for my son's well-being, I will do it. And that blind rage in the moment when they're already ready to fight, and then she's lost a son in this fight, and she knows this detail about this one hostage when also her adoptive daughter that she's raised is under the knife. I think it makes a lot of sense. It doesn't hurt her character at all to me, um, or make me like change my view of her. It's all like heat of the moment and female character
The
that's
fact they don't
lost a
address
child.
it afterward, though, that does bug me. Because
Well, they don't
it's just
address it
like, oh,
because
we're a happy
they
family, and I'm like, I don't know. That's a moment with two characters that should be addressed a little, or even Jake. That's like, I don't like you're about to kill him over like this. What the hell? Like
well, that's what the sequel's for.
maybe, but I don't know.
Well, I
Tim, what
felt
do you
I felt
Tim? What do
this
you think?
movie ended kind of abruptly
Me
because
too.
they have this big fight for like 45 minutes, and big consequences happen. They lose a son, and you think they've killed Quadric, but then his son actually saves him because he remembers, like, well, he acted like he didn't give a fuck, and then he actually did. And this has been a hole in my heart this whole time, is like, I'm not an Navi, so no matter how much family I make out of these people, it's not my dad. And this guy apparently is, and he actually cared enough to like not exact revenge on his sworn enemy. And so he saves them from drowning, and even though he still sides with his family because that guy's mission is to like take out Jake Sully, like that is a like the fact that they didn't show like, hey, Jake, I actually saved him. Like that's going to be a big problem of like, what? I can't blame this kid because I was
Look
there. I
what
know
just happened
exactly
with
what
the mom.
I know
Mom was
exactly
willing
what
to
he.
dispose of him right there.
Yeah, it's like yeah, like it's the whole conflict of, uh, like,
But
yeah,
you
this
see,
guy's trying to
this,
eradicate us.
but this should even play more to it because the Grace's daughter isn't even theirs really either, though. That's an adopted one, and she's more of a human Navi hybrid entirely. She's not a full on Navi either. So I don't know. Natira's motivation to that seems confusing to me, with what she actually values, because they're those two are essentially in the same boat, though even though she just got more Navi blood, essentially. That's
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's what I'm saying. Her character is, I don't like her right now. Is all I'm saying. I didn't say that doesn't make sense. I'm saying that I don't fucking like her after this bit. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Tim? What's going on, man?
Yeah, well, his guy's mic mute. I don't know if he's setting up something or. Yeah, I'm waiting for
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on there. There's some like unanswered questions that I'm still asking myself with like Sigourney Weaver's character and like her long lost daughter. Right? They've never fully explained her like. Do you think they're setting up where that the birth is like this like Star Wars thing? It's beginning to seem more and more like Star Wars, where this is like a where Anakin was born out of the Force, but this was born out of like whatever you call
Awa.
this. And then what I make a comparison on this film is this is the Force Awakens of Avatar. It really is. There's a lot of renditions from it, but I feel like it's a better rendition. This is what Force Awakens should have been, right? It didn't fully rely on like the New Hope or the first Avatar. It did add some membranes. It did, but then it was a nice like expansion from the brand. But then also it introduced like new ways. I did like the new characters, the sea people, which they call it, and I do get what you guys are talking about as far as like the main character. He's like, you are literally human, a sky people, and you're speaking those terms. Why don't they have like more enhanced weapons, right? Like at this point, a year has passed, and you guys still don't have advanced weapons. So
Well,
maybe
actually,
that's
like a
kind of like a
decade's
religion
passed.
thing. They don't believe.
Oh,
Well, I
I was
mean-
just saying that, like,
well,
yeah,
is it a decade's fat? Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because he's
of
had the
children and all
kids,
that
yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
and then in the film it says a year later.
Well, if anything,
Yeah,
we're
but
saying
yeah,
that
yeah,
they
like,
could have been
so-
more. They could have been more organized with their environmental stuff, even if they didn't upgrade their tech. Like they could have been more with the with the wildlife, because they have all their Neuralink stuff.
Yeah,
Could have
they're completely
utilized.
reliant on human weapons to fight humans, unless they use like a bow and arrow, which is like, it's cool to show contrast, but like at some point, because like you see a progression for humans where it's like, they make technology, but then they're adapting to this world and the sentient population that's like twice their size.
Yeah, and to answer your question,
true.
I think with the Grace's daughter, I think that like the tree, the pretty much pretty much someone impregnated her, maybe, because
Yeah,
like
with the
they keep
Force.
on talking about it like it's a godly thing, and her ability to they show her interact with things differently than everybody else. Like the seeds kind of go around her a little bit. The things in the water and they follow her movements
Now
a
this
little
is
bit.
pod racing.
It's it was, and they said her birth was mysterious. So it's like, okay, yeah, what is this? Is this the tree thing? Is this their god essentially doing this? Their
Yeah.
planet god? Yeah.
Yeah, it like they use little snippets or whatever. I think they take a lot of those stuff out of context, which they do, whatever, and then they kind of because it's so vague, they can kind of build off of with the Sigourney Weaver scenes, where she's talking about like the interconnection with everything and how everything works, and that's kind of what they do. So like, I know the passage time you say like it was like 10 years or so, but like I'm wondering. That like the second one, like this film kind of had a theme, and then they were kind of running away. And by the end of the film, the main character realizes that he needs to protect his family and stand up for what he believes. So there's no more hiding away. This new tribe, the Sea People, accepted me. So this is when they're gonna start like more well equipping each other. But then I feel like at the end of the film, isn't it kind of not a cop out, but like the son, we're talking about like the father-son relationship. I feel like it's very like prevalent throughout this thing, which I thought was pretty good. But like even with the sergeant and what's his name, the Tarzan knockoff guy or the
Spider,
Little Wayne. Yeah, Spider or Little Wayne Jr.
Little Wayne.
Or, no. Someone has to make a meme, dude. Like, who's the other guy? Like the Puerto Rican dude. He looks like a lighter skinned Puerto Rican dude. You know who I'm talking about? That did
the Doctor?
No, the little spider guy. He looks just like that rapper that worked with that was in jail for like in prison, like
not Tech 9, but it was something stupid like that. Yeah.
No, some Makashi 6ix9ine or whatever.
Tekashi 6ix9ine, yeah.
Yeah, he looks like he looks like a Etsy version of him. Like someone needs to make a meme. Like I swear.
Hey, don't be hating on Etsy.
I don't know. You know what I mean? But that's. But he wasn't a bad character. But I like what they did with the sergeant and stuff. And why I think that makes sense. At first, I was like, okay, he's not real. He even said they're not related. He's just kind of a clone and stuff. But I think the clone looked at like past mistakes and hey, this is kind of like a second chance at life and how I could do this life better. That's kind of how I took it. So
the whole like crushing his own skull, like it was a visual metaphor for like he's a new man, literally, but also figuratively. And it's like, yeah, I like metaphors. Like I was waiting for like some sort of when he's holding the skull, I was waiting for some sort of like Hamlet reference or allusion, and they didn't do that. And I was like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of stuff is good in here, but my major issue is just like the pacing, man. It was like 3 hours long, but like it could, like I feel like it could have been a great film if it was 2.5 hours long.
We feel these total opposite. We're like, there's not enough fucking time because we think there's so many things that they could spend time on, but we get kind of quicker versions of everything, and I'm like, no, just take your time. No,
yeah, it would be more satisfying if
like
they had like another half hour.
Like to us, it's not. To us, it's rushing in a way. Like even with the first Avatar film, we were like, if only it had an extra 2 hours, like we could have gotten more. We could have gotten more stuff with this, or maybe they could have added some elements like of what's going on Earth, so that we can get why they need to go here and why they need this material, why that's so important. Like there's so many things they could do to help bolster why things are happening or give motivation for stuff. Like there's just so much that
just the state of Earth and people coming from Earth, like spending 6 years in cryostasis to come here and make a new life or whatever to establish a new settlement of humanity. That's its own thing that we're like probably never going to get. That is its own idea in the universe of Pandora and whatnot in Avatar. That would be interesting to show. Like not even show Pandora, like just go back to Earth and see the state. Essentially Raised by Wolves, but Avatar.
How'd they get the idea to get DNA from the natives to mix with their own to grow bodies that they can link neurally with? Like that's like a own sci-fi movie in and of itself. And it's like there's so many of these concepts that are just blown over us. Like when they said, like I didn't even think about it at all until Angus brought it up. He was like, oh yeah, you know how they just have the they have the Colonel's memories and just put it into another body. It's like, hold on.
Like that existed in the
they
first
had
movie.
They had his memories into a chip. It's like
Oh, dang.
that's a big fucking thing of technology to have that's just glazed over. And like that's what we think. That's what makes the Navi interesting is how they can connect with so many things that they essentially upload into their planet. And it's like no, the humans were also able to just make like a quick thing. It's like, well, hold on, and
Yeah,
I don't know.
You can immerse your existence into memories of dead people because they've uploaded into this Neuralink tree. And like I was talking yesterday about how like if this is reality and they are gene splicing to make bodies that we can VR through, and it has a functional connectivity to nature, just like the natives, you would think they'd try to synthesize that because, like, the metaverse, they're doing this whole, the the biggest competitor for TikTok, YouTube, any of these platforms is sleep. They're trying to fight your sleep patterns and get you hooked. That's why they got like the autoplay features and stuff to hook you in to keep you sucked in the wormhole. And yeah, like the biggest currency to get from you, the user, is your time. Now think about if they had this thing to immerse you in. Think about Blade Runner 2049. Like he's got this guy who's living like he's a real person. He's got a VR wife, in the house and stuff. He's wants to like get enough money to make her real, and like that's his drive. Now think about if you could like do that with a biological thing to immerse yourself. People would pay hand over fist to like get out of their mundane existence of, I work at a factory, so most of those people just are knuckle draggers. They do their thing, they go home, they watch TV, and that's all they do. If you had something like to this, that's its own thing, but they're just like, oh, we just need a rock, an obtainium for whatever.
Well, and also just like with the Avatar thing, like they're splicing theirs with the Avatar with the Navi to make this surrogate body. Could they just grow
re-upload into that body?
Well, no. Could they just clone themselves and like like Sully's cripple, but it's like, oh, I can just clone a human body of myself and like could just have myself.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like without even doing the Navi stuff. Like if you just wanted to be a human, like I don't see why they wouldn't be able to with all the stuff they're able to do. Go ahead.
I find it kind of problematic in a way. Like I was looking at like Sully's thing, his transition to Navi was more ritual. It was more like ritualistic, and it was like more like magical in a way. It wasn't just like passing his consciousness, like in a way. It was just like it wasn't like so techy. Like I felt like when he died, it was actually his soul and his body going into this. When the sergeant and them go into it, it's not really them, and they made self-aware to explain the difference. So I don't know. It to me, it almost like cheapened Sully's transition over to being a Navi, right? Do you think that's actually Sully, the original Sully, in the Navi's body, or is it just his consciousness?
No, I totally think it's the first one. That, like, it seems pretty explicit that like the essence of Jake Sully was transferred through the ritual into the body of the Avatar.
It wasn't like it was just his consciousness.
Okay. Yeah.
It was like no. This is who he is. Literally, is transferred into this.
Yeah. Versus the Colonel and his squad. They are essentially
like the real them are dead.
They've saved their memory essentially as a program to put into a computer, which is the new body. So like they're running off of the previous existence in this new body, but it's an actual new person that they've bred, which is like, wait, if we're at this state and you're just breeding new bodies and then uploading a preset like mental configuration, like there's all sorts of ethical issues where it's like, what's the state of Earth where we're essentially making new people, but they're like a product? Like cloning, human cloning, we've never crossed that line thus far. At most, you get like the chimera experiments and shit, and that's to get around, scientific, like ethical issues if you're doing it with people. And so, like, yeah, you transpose like real life awareness of like these ideas into the sci-fi that clearly is, exaggerating scientific ideas. And then you start like, wait, I love this movie, but I love it so much that like I'm thinking deep about the real life kind of comparisons, and it feels like as much as it's getting better, it's also like, well, they're adding more and more problems that
It's
like
also
they
getting
don't
worse
add up.
potentially. Well, I was gonna say, like you're mentioning the clones in Stargate, the gray aliens essentially in that one. They're like Asgard essentially is what they're called in there. They're whatever. They the current ones that we see are descendants from the original ones, but these are like clones of clones of clones of clones of clones, and their species will go extinct at some point because they get less pure DNA every time they clone, which is all they can do because they're cloning themselves. So,
Yeah.
the further along you go, the less original DNA you have to work with. So, like, could that potentially create a problem for for the rest of humanity with what they're doing, like with what they're doing
Yeah.
here? Like,
I
don't
think
know.
what the problem issue that's I think we're kind of alluding to is the fact that they're like not based, like, yeah, their consciousness is based off a human and those memories, but though the original body doesn't exist anymore, it's in the grave, it's dead. So now the new bodies are only blue. They don't have the human bodies. I like these scientists were not thinking it through. You should have recreated the human bodies to program then into the blue bodies. So therefore they have that human nature or the connection to humanity. Now the fact that we've already seen the Colonel is kind of losing his humanity, his fatherhood's connection, or kind of clouding him in a way, even though it's not really his son, to Spider here. So he's kind of like, even like the other group members. I thought that's what they're going to go with, like all the group members, as far as like the party, we're going to turn because they are not human. They're
Well, hold on.
not
I kind of
right.
disagree though, because is it the body that makes you human? It's more their personality, the choices they're making. It kind of seemed like
Yeah,
him, if he wasn't a Navi and he still met his son, he'd be like, "You're not my fucking son." Like
yeah.
that seems like, but with this, the son was growing on him regardless, even though he's still a Navi, and the son isn't. Like, I don't know. I don't know if that's a factor.
But then
I don't really see
after,
that as a
like, after
factor.
the mission's over, there's going to be this self-realization that they're not going to be really accepted towards humanity after the mission's over. You don't think they're going to have
Yeah,
that
no, they're
conversation? You know
tools.
what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like the Clone Wars, the clones are just a tool, means to an end. At some point, we don't need you. Like what, you're
Well, right,
just
but that's not his humanity being lost. That's more the humans' humanity not being very moral. I don't know. That seems what that is,
Yeah.
because I don't really see it specifically as humanity. I'm just talking about. I was talking about just the
you know what's
species
going to happen?
itself is what I was referring to.
Quadrant is going to be General Hux.
Oh.
No, literally, that's what's going to, because like he's got this
I'm the
tie to
spy.
Spider. He's got the.
Yeah.
I love that. Like no build up, no questions. Like I'm the spy. Like, and it's like, oh, he's the spy. Kill him. Like,
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they had him and Sully team up in a future movie.
no,
Like,
they that is exactly. I think it's going to happen, because like over time, and maybe they'll actually get more human story investment of like him realizing like, well, what Tim's saying, like, oh, well, we're winning, and we've actually got a foothold, and we don't need any of this Navi based shit. We're people. Like
you're just a monkey now.
yeah, it's like
oh.
it's like the Indian trackers for the French or the British. Like, yeah, you're helping us and we're taking out your enemy, but ultimately we're destroying your culture too. And like his whole existence is like one if they're successful, his existence is no longer useful because he's essentially them. And I think he's going to realize that, and enemy of my enemy kind of thing, despite their past. Yeah, he'll probably be like a military specific agent for Sully, and especially with Spider buying into the Navi, and clearly he has a connection there that he wants, and yeah, it's going to come to a head. I think that's where it's going to, and I like that. I think it'll be a good version of what General Hux was. Maybe they'll use him to actually infiltrate, like what he intended for Sully with the Navi. It'll actually go the other way
It'll be
around.
the opposite way
full
around with the
circle.
humans or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and that'd be cool because like that. I was what I was saying earlier. Like the first big problem, plot wise, that I felt that maybe you disagree, but the whole like guerrilla warfare is like, okay, that's cool, but ultimately you need to be trying to figure out how to like destroy humans from like settling here in the first place.
Yeah,
You need to like
get catapults to hit the spaceships when they try to land or something. Like,
yeah, you can't just destroy their.
You can't just react to what's happening. You got to be ready before.
Yeah, you can't just like, oh, we took out their supply line, so now they got like they still have the base, and you're not putting a dent in the base. And it felt like that's the overarching like problem, and he's just running away. And like now he realizes like, all right, we've bought in with water people, and actually we're just going to stand our ground and get ready, and we're not going to hide anymore. We're going full charge offensive. And it's like, cool, now actually take out the base. That's the problem. You can't just fight the little armies here and there or take out, you gotta like hit them at home.
I'm curious what all those other movies are going to be. How many more is he trying to make?
I've heard he's got up to 7 planned.
Oh, 7?
Like, fuck yeah.
I imagine that half of them are going to be all war based, maybe. But then I don't fucking know. Like, I feel like there's always going to be that conflict because in this one we focused a lot on them learning, stuff about the environment. So it's like, I don't know how much I don't know. Could all of them just be, the human versus that Navi war, or do you think some other elements will come into play?
Well, I mean, there's been on Earth, there's like the 100 Years War. So there's like a multi-generational war between two factions.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if it's the idea that Earth is dying, and that means there's a limited amount of them left that can even come here. I don't know. I feel like there's a timetable too on that kind of thing, and the amount of hybridization that'll happen with them already, with the kids they already have. That.
Well, I think the idea is if they actually like humanity becomes aware of the value of Pandora with its sentient natives, the Navi, then they would figure out to like, okay, we need to start growing the Navi hybrid avatars and then doing the ritual to transfer our consciousness into the bodies. And then that can be our new life, is we're the hybrids.
Will the Navi allow it?
That would be the smart move, in my opinion. I don't think it'll go that way, but I don't think it'll go that way because it's a very one-sided story in the sense of like they're not showing any besides just like base level. We need resources, and we're raping the new planet for our own existence.
What if they showed some Navi do some morally dubious thing to humans?
Or here's the thing: why don't they show some Navi that are actually they're way more advanced. I hate having a fucking loincloth riding up my ass. I want to fly a scorpion. I don't want to do a stupid banshee ritual. Like I want to live like people.
That kind of goes with what I was saying about like if some Navi were to volunteer to mine for them. Like, hey, you don't need to bring your shit in here. We'll just bring it out to you. And, we can figure out some trade in that way, maybe.
Yeah,
I'll give you the unobtainium. Exactly you give me the gun.
Yeah. That's the thing is like I'm seeing one thing that's irritating. I love this movie in this world, but one thing that's irritating is we're not seeing like Magua in Last of the Mohicans. He's a savage of like an enemy tribe to our hero, but he is working for the French in the movie, and like this idea of working for ultimately your enemy but they're hurting your other enemy. And well, I'm not seeing that. And I think that would be interesting as like a conflict of like, yeah, I knew this guy in our tribe, but he turned on us. He's working for the people, and
Yeah,
and
I
you
don't
can
know.
maintain the like cowboys versus Indians kind of template that this is, but actually have like a bigger range. That's what's annoying is like as in depth and as cool the science of this is in the sociology, the culture, all this stuff that they're like pulling from real life. uh I'm not seeing like the conflict go the other way of like no, the humans are cool, actually they're industrious.
Yeah, like oh, I lost an arm. That would normally be gone, but now I can have a cyber arm that can.
Now I have an Alita arm.
Yeah, now I can do this, or like I don't know, just there. I don't know. There's got to be just some stuff to see it. I want to see more of this shit because it's like, what else are they gonna do, and how long can this even last? Like, how long will these movies be able to really go for, and will they get continue to get better in time, or will they decline at some point? That's
Yeah,
a
it depends on
concern.
the box office too. Like I know it's tracking for like 179 by according to Deadline, but it just like these films are expensive. You know, as long as they make the money back, I'm sure they'll continue. But like, I don't know, because they could introduce a new world. Like we got this water world essentially, like what we're all talking about. But like, what other place are they going to keep doing this every film?
Yeah, are there
Oh,
any
he's
other
gonna
moons? They said there's a
have.
they're in the orbit of a gas giant essentially, on just one of the moons. There could be hundreds of moons on that freaking in their orbit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially
because
with like the new tech that you could like a lot of our technology is like how can we better control nature around us or react to it. And with the Navi by themselves, on top of all the other creatures in the way this world works, if you're thinking like through Grace's perspective, there's so much that they could be advancing by being aware of like a whole new ecosystem and um adaptations that were unconceivable on Earth that are a reality on this planet. And so it's like, because of this, I never thought to like essentially like if you're just thinking about like mechanical like Pacific Rim where they got like some sort of like neural link to their machine, you would think like if you're seeing this world as it is, that would actually be some sort of science you'd be trying because like it's real in biology on Pandora.
yeah, I think it was like advantage. Like the first film, I took it as more of like the Native American experience. This one is more of like I don't know. This seemed like more like Hawaiian people, right? Like just kind of
Yeah,
the vibe.
yeah,
And
Polynesians.
yeah. So like I think the advantage is that the fact they're in tune with the world, they're listening, they're not so like, they're not looking at their phone every 5 seconds. They're in tune what's actually going on. They know the climate, they know the area, they know all the secret hideouts, whatever. So that's kind of their advantage. But like if they used a little bit of technology and advanced their weapons, I feel like the sky people could not even mess with them. Like as far as like we got like the big whatever you call those things, are pretty dominant and are smart and intelligent. And then and when we're in the normal Pandora area, I forget what it's called, but like you got like these like dragon type things that are pretty formidable. But it's just like even that the chick's bow, man, she's just taking out people like right and left, just like
I love it. It
fierce.
was pretty cool.
Yeah, she was like these. No, dude, I was in the theater and these kids were like, "She's crazy, she's crazy," and then every time she was like, "Yeah," and every time she was like, "Rah," and the kids were like, "Rah," like the kids were very vocal and they were digging into it. They had a fun time. So
Oh yeah, no, I was thinking about that. Like when because like at one point Took when she's tied up after they're caught again. Oh, that was I was trying to remember. Like there was like I wasn't in a huge crowd because I went to the 3 o'clock show here, the first
yeah,
show. So most people were still in like school or getting out of work or whatever. So there's probably maybe 20 people, but there was like a collective like ha 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 because Took's like, I can't believe I'm tied up again. And it's like but no, and she like he's talking to Sully on the comm and he's like mentioning them or some shit, and she like growls at him, and I'm just like, yeah, like kids would fucking love that.
The new
The idea of
my precious. Ah!
yeah, like the idea of like you're kind of like these cat monkey people, and there is like animalistic communication or intimidation. That's a normal thing for the species. Kids would love that because it's like, you know, you're like, I'm gonna be a doggy, you know, rough, but you know, this is like more in depth. And
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like they're not tapping in full into the power sources in a way. I feel like they can charge their arrows kind of like Turok in a way. And like we kind of seen like, you know, they took down one of those well creatures and they're like, you know, this could make anyone young. And in like the first movie, they were trying to use them for like power sources, right? It's just like, you know, I know they don't want to like abuse whatever is going on, but I feel like there should be some sort of way where they can use the elements to their advantage without like abusing it.
Yeah, like
So
working. That's kind of what I was saying. Like working together with your elements or something somehow, able to do something else with it. I don't know. It's but I was kind of annoyed that was even introduced as well. It was like, oh, this thing stops aging. It's like I had no idea that's what they're. I thought they're just whaling anyway, or for food, or to piss people off because it's a nature thing. And what, like, I don't know. It's like no, it's to get this brain juice that prevents aging. It's like I don't think we needed to have that in here.
it's
at
like
all.
that's a pretty big idea of like de-aging.
You can't just introduce that and be like that's just what this was. It's like
This is why we're doing it, but never mind.
And then like same with the unobtainium anyway. It's a retarded freaking name. I hate it so much. And then it's like it's just a thing that's like I don't know. I guess it powers things, even though they don't even say that. They're just like we're just trying to get it. I don't even think
Yeah, you have no idea what
they don't even
use
say
it for.
what it's for. Is it for a Game Boy or is it for like a whole city? Like what? Like I don't even know. They're like, oh, it's super awesome. We need it, and it's like, fucking why? But whatever. That's the MacGuffin item they need.
Really quick, we got as far as I know, unless you're a name change, this is the first time I've seen you in my chat. Thanks for joining. Derpy501st, I love it. That name says it's not better than the first film or unique like its predecessors, but it's pretty darn close. The best part of this film is the insane amount of world building, also far more visual spectacle than the first. I wouldn't say more. I just say like room to grow for a new area. Like it's one thing that irritates me about Star Wars. Like I was talking about, like there's a lot of range to Star Wars, but it's like a shallow depth with all the different creatures and sentient people. Like everyone just breathes air. In any planet you go to, where there's sentient creatures, it's never really like a. Besides, like maybe Plo Koon is the only thing, and they never address that. It's just you have to learn that on your own outside of the films. Is like Plo Koon can't breathe the air, so he has like that mask. So the mask isn't actually part of his face. That's an addition to survive. But like you go to Tatooine and you aren't going to notice one spot from another besides maybe rock formations or what, not Yavin, but Endor. It's just a giant redwood planet. The whole place looks the same. You know, Alderaan is just like a mountainous, somewhat snowy planet. Like the Hoth, it's just a snow planet. There's no real range to it. And so this is like, oh yeah, well, on this planet, here is like an area that's like Polynesian, you know, and the people have adapted and they actually have physical adaptation because they've all lived here so long. They're different than the forest Na'vi. God, yeah, I love it. And then also, not only are the Na'vi the sentient species with language and culture, but also whales on this planet are sentient and can understand sign language with the Na'vi and apparently have a bigger, more complex brain than humans or Na'vi. Cool stuff. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I love this more than the first. Of course, you wouldn't have it without the first one. I think it's kind of like Empire. Once we get through this series, however long it goes, I think the 1 and 2 will have this argument of like, well, which one's better, the one that started or the one that continued and actually built on it, took us further, added new things. I don't know. but I favor the newest thing, Avatar 2. 'Cause especially with the opening, I think they got a way more personal opening to like hook you into the world. Because the first one's like there's a lot of info dump to understand the universe, but there's no like emotional tie to Jake Sully. It's just he's a guy with this problem, and now he's doing this job because his brother's dead, and he's his twin.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said he thinks it's dragged. I disagree. I literally, I was, I'm, even though I'm taking in a new movie, and I had no idea of any spoilers besides a possibility of spoiler at the time that Stephen Lang's reintroduction in the movie was what it was, and I'm like, no way, that's fucking retarded. They did it well despite a retarded premise. But no, like I'm watching it, I'm like, God, they're like getting every ounce they can out of this movie. They're even doing shots, close-ups to show off the CGI, how good it is, how convincing it is. And honestly, all the complete CGI scenes looked better than actual real life scenes of
In
like the
some
water
movies.
stunts, people being bombarded with water and stuff.
I want somebody to point to another movie that does underwater effects as good or better than this. I don't think one exists.
Yeah, like, dude, the human scenes were like shot really well. Attention to detail when they showed like when the mini ships or whatever you call it, like when it was flooding through the water and like their perspective, I was like, holy crap! Like, it's nice detail, and even like the action scenes and how they kind of cut away. It's just like if you watch the first one, I watched the first one before I went to saw this. And the first one was good for its time, whatever, and those graphics were revolutionary for this time. But when you step into this, it's like, hold my beer. Like, these graphics are absolutely amazing, man. It's just like the detail, and they look real compared to like right next to the human beings. Like
even like the blood on his face, like that's a CGI thing anyway, but that looked like a cut. Like
yeah, like the blood on his hands when like he was holding the wound for his brother, and then like he's dead, and you see like the blood on his hands. Like there was nothing I watched where I'm like what rewatching Avatar 1, it looks great and it's aged very well, but certain shots with like the horses, the way like they got like that like amphibious skin and the shine on it, it just sometimes the shine on the skin doesn't look quite
didn't
right.
fit right. Same with the dogs. I felt a little bit in the first one.
Yeah. And this one, they show the dogs, and it's like, I'm aware of that from the first one I'm watching. I'm like, God, like I know it's CGI, but it looks so good and real. The only time there are certain movements of like the whales swimming, where it felt like a video game, like a new video game, but like the mechanics just weren't quite fine-tuned, and maybe that was like certain scenes that were like more quickly produced by the studio. But yeah, besides little things here and there, like video games really bad about like however good they have gotten, they still don't always get like human motion right. Like they're still not convincing with movement and stuff. But this was damn near flawless for every frame.
And keep in mind as well, most like usually people will try to utilize CGI and like have more dark scenes, like darkly lit scenes, so that it hides some of the flaws with CGI. This one and the other one, this is like full on daytime most of the time. Like they're in daylight
and bright and in water,
which is ballsy for CGI because it's easier to notice flaws when the screen when it's lighter, when it's bright. But that's why it's usually darker in a lot of stuff where you see CGI. But this is like most of the movie, most of it's bright and and in water, and it's like that's pretty good freaking combo. Pretty good combo. Well, they're going in and out of the water as CGI humanoids and stuff with these creatures, and it looks good. Just looks fucking great. Like I really want somebody to try to compare it. Like, this other film is pretty similar in visual quality. Like, fucking step it up. Let me see. Like, what do we got here? What you gonna say, Aquaman? That's adorable.
Oh, that's probably the best comparison to like long water scenes, and wow,
And that was
doesn't
awful.
compare. Doesn't compare. I mean, it's fine. You know, I'm convinced that they're in the water for the scenes, but like, I'm not convinced it's real at all. You know,
Like
it's
the
like, oh,
creatures and like the octopus playing the drums, like this looks so fake. Like not even
yeah. And this one's like,
close.
you know, she's got like, I thought it was interesting, and as soon as they showed, I'm like, well, that's going to come into the picture later. And yeah, I didn't expect it to be like this like vague AWA thing with Kiri that they're still not clarifying yet.
Yep, she's Jesus, Jesus baby.
But it's like I thought it was kind of weird, and I guess she's like Rain Man or something. I don't know, where she's just like, like that scene where she's just like staring at the sand or whatever. I was waiting for it to be like a crab or something, but like there was nothing. She's just staring at the water and the sand, her face in the water, and then like when the ship is like capsized and everyone's like, oh, we're trying to find them, are they alive? And for a minute she's just like sunk in the water and just like looking around, like lost in the sauce. And then it's like, oh, here's those extra air floaty things. I guess I'll put one on and look for my mom.
Yeah, a little bit. I
Little
don't know
things
if
like
you
that
comment
were
on that.
irritating. Little things like that were irritating, but I loved it. And yeah, they did those close shots of their face to really get the detail and show off.
Well, like she
I
looks
loved
different
it.
than the other Navi. Like
Yeah, like
she's
you can
got good
tell them
humanoid
apart.
features that are different, and
It's funny, another little like I laughed, so everyone laughed at the Kiri when she's like, oh man, I'm tied up again, but no one laughed besides me. When they're first coming, essentially begging to like be let into the tribe to hide out, and uh Terry says some shit, and he's like, I apologize for my wife. And she's like, no, do not apologize for me. It's like, of course the woman's going to be emotional and complicate this, understandably so. But I thought that was funny. Like, even though we're going to this whole new world, it's like, oh yeah, some guys had to deal with like, shut up, wife. Like,
yeah, that's not the point right now.
it's like, we are beggars and you're making this harder.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, so Angus and I have gone over a lot of the film so far. Was there any points you wanted to mention or bring up?
No, I'm still kind of confused. Like you guys were talking about the Sigourney Weaver stuff. I still don't fully grasp it. She seems like she's like Avatar Jesus at this point, or Pandora Jesus. You know, and just like how she was so easy. Like she was literally just like sitting there underwater with kind of no struggle. And they brought up the different. I like the fact that they paid attention to detail as far as they were like, well, the sea people have like adapted over a period of time, had different characteristics. It made sense. It seemed very very real. But then, like, I felt like the people, everyone, the passage of time, I feel like people adapted. They adapted too quick. I don't know the passage of time there, but then you got Sigourney Weaver's daughter. She's like, "Hold my beer. I can just do anything," or I'm just weird, right?
Well,
So
I don't know if I'd say it's the same as "Hold My Beer, Let Me Do It," but like she does seem to naturally have a tune thing to it. But I think part of that is I think that kind of thing will be answered in a future film because they don't know who the father of her is. They don't even know,
There
and
was
because
no father.
and because of her interaction that she thinks she has with Awa, and and because think about it too, like Grace was like super studying Awa, and she was she was doing the soul transfer thing, and that didn't work. My theory is that she purposefully wanted to stay in Awa and try to learn about it. Like, oh, I have a chance to live and I can go to my avatar body, or I'm uploaded into this thing. I want to be in here. And when Kiri was like, trying to with the underwater version of Awa or whatever plugs in, she like briefly talks with her. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's something there intentionally set up for later to be expanded upon. And they were even showing her when she fell asleep, like that scene that's probably forgettable, where they're like in the forest and she falls asleep on the ground and the grass is kind of like
Yeah,
moving
I
around
was like,
her.
what is that?
And she said, "Oh, did I do that thing again?" Okay, and it was just like, "Oh, whatever." It's breezed over, but it implies that she has an interesting interaction with the world, and she feels like she's really connected with Awa, and
Mm.
so that's kind of my explanation with it. So like for now, until they give more information, is that and those little floaty things are seeds. I don't know how that has to do with breeding necessarily, but they never got into specifics about how they breed. Though we could assume it's similar to humans, but I don't know. With this planet, because they have their bonds that are also different with animals in general that are not sexual, but still, I don't know. There's something there that I think could be explained and why, because she still has humanoid features, even if it's just the body was a human. Yeah, I guess was a human hybrid DNA thing. I guess how it was made anyway with Sigourney Weaver's DNA and the Avatar body. But
Actually,
I don't know.
that's like a really interesting thing. The fact that Jake Sully and any of these Avatar bodies can mate with the pure blood Navi, because if you're splicing human DNA, I can't remember. Like, this is a while ago. I remember we're 98% related to chimps. All right, but we can't mate with them because we have a different chromosome set. Like we have 23 pairs, they have I think like 27. So even if you tried, like it won't work because like the chromosome of like sperm and egg, like it won't match up. And so the fact that they were able to like splice all this, and then the hybrids can mate with the host species, and there's not like a issue with it. This is like the deep science that like could be a problem when you start tearing it apart, or like as like these premises. But it's like, holy shit, like that's actually just a crazy idea when you have any understanding of science on Earth in reality, and then you see this like sci-fi premise where it's like, oh, interesting.
I feel like that's one of those things to omit of like, we don't have current space travel. They have the technology for space travel. They have the means to make the genes work with this, I guess. That makes more sense to me compared to I can just download your memories into a chip and put it into your body. You know what I mean?
And also
That's the
that was
degree that I'll
around
take.
in the first film.
Yeah.
Like this is
Yeah.
this is a retroactive technology.
It's technically older. It's over 10 years older.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like when you watch Avatar, you should be aware, like in this world, this is a thing that is available, even though they're not saying it in this film because it wasn't thought of in this film. This is a reality retroactively, and so this adds like mental problems of like, wait, if you're able to do this, like, yeah.
I mean, with what Tim was saying earlier about like how they could have had like charged arrows or something, I think it would have been smart if they utilized the unobtainium as part of the Navi's response, like to when they're guerrilla warfaring or something, to cause like more, like even if it was like at the tip of their arrows to like penetrate the airships better or something.
Oh no, not unobtainium arrowheads.
I wish they'd have a different fucking name for it, but if they're gonna have a stupid bullshit item in the thing, you might as well use it if you're gonna have it be a thing, yeah, that could have been it. Like, oh, it's able to pierce the armor thing even better with their arrows. So it's not like
I fucking love unobtainium. It's
I fucking hate Tim. You're not aware of how much I fucking hate words like that in movies, because it's literally like I'm writing a draft and I don't know what to call
Draftonium.
I don't know what to it's like I don't know what to call this element, so I'm gonna call it whatever onium.
Elementonium.
I'm gonna have this glass here and it's really special. Let's call it glassonium. It's like, no, come up with a real name. Don't just it's like like when people name their cat Fluffy or something, or Whiskers. It's just so uncreative.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I get a kick out because like me and Ricky are so in tune with each other, and I know he hates it, so it makes it like it would be like, oh, that's stupid, but whatever, forgettable. But like he's made it like such an imprinted like irritation and so I get a kick
If
out
I
of
didn't see it in multiple things, I wouldn't be as pissed off. In
Yeah, like-
Transformers, they call it Transformium.
Transformium. And then in Black Adam, they have Eternium.
It's just like, why can't you come up with a creative name? Ah.
Yeah, at least like Kryptonite. I mean, it's still ultimately a stupid derivative where it's like, oh, we're on Krypton and here's a mineral. We'll call it Kryptonite. And it's like, okay, but it has its own character. You know, it has its own like, okay, like it's not. It doesn't feel like obvious. Oh wow, you didn't put any effort. You know,
There's A to B to C to how they got there. That's fine. Unobtainium's like, that's hard to obtain. Let's call it unobtainium. Huh?
Yeah.
It's like, no, those are transformers. Let's call them transformers.
actually, give me a second. I'll be right back. I got something to show off that I haven't even looked at yet. I'm literally going to open it on camera, but I'm excited to have it in my hands finally. So give me 1 second.
Yeah, what's up, Justin? In the chat, what's up, buddy? Yeah, freaking loved it.
Oh, I don't have my
No-
earphones on, but Tim, I want you to stay so you can see this.
Gotcha.
The
Yeah.
film's great, but it does have a lot of problems still.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like, some really strong points on there. I know you guys love the pacing. I don't like the pacing, but like I feel like they were just trying to fit too much stuff in. I'm not saying I didn't like the stuff that they started to develop, and yeah, like I did get sentimental towards the end, and I get a tearjerker towards kind of the end. I'm not gonna lie, but then I just felt like that was kind of shoehorned in. Like some other things were kind of shoehorned in when they should have focused more on some of the core characters. But I can see later on in like film 2, 3, or whatever that go on, there's going to be some type of payout for that, and that so. That was just kind of my issue. There's too much shoved in. It was too long for me, but I did really enjoy the film. It's the best looking film I've ever seen in my life, not going to lie. And I think it's definitely worth the watch. And I think a lot of people, it's a universal film for everyone, for all audiences to see. Like kids seemed like they had fun and like they were engaged. Even if it was annoying or not, every time.
I wonder how kids feel when Natiri had the knife to the kid's throat.
Oh yeah, no, that was kind of a quiet moment there actually, because I went at like it was 4. Well, the movie didn't start till 4:30 because we had to watch like 20 some minutes of stupid, trailers, and Nicole Kidman had to tell us to like come to AMC even though we're already there.
Yeah.
So
we have Maria Menounos that always does that in ours, but Angus, you got back here. We were just saying like he's saying how kids probably loved the film as well, but I'm wondering how kids would feel about the Natiri scene where she had the knife to her stepson's throat, like willing to kill her, surrogate kid essentially to save her other kid. Like what kids would think about that.
All right, here we go.
Oh, now your headphones are in. Fuck, thought you had your headphones on at this point.
No, I said, oh crap, I forgot my scissors. All right, so luckily, I went to Meijer, which is kind of like Target, and they still got them. They got me the Avatar, the Awa tree.
Ah,
Fucking, this is the biggest set I've ever gotten.
oh,
It's
Lego.
it's got the pterodactyl, the one that he catches from the sky, the above it. I got
Nice.
that, and then I also got this bad boy, the 2 Banshee set.
Holy crap!
But
Ooh.
I mean, unless I get more of them, I'll probably just sit on that until I can sell it on eBay for profit. But this is the thing I'm showing off that I'm going to open. I haven't seen it myself in person yet. And what a perfect day to arrive. The day The Way of Water came out.
Uh-oh.
Merry Christmas to me.
I wonder if it's a Red Ryder BB gun.
Fuck Christmas Story.
He hates that movie.
Yeah, no, it's funny hearing people that like Christmas Story hating the sequel because it's like, God, think how awful it'd be for me because I hate Christmas Story.
Yep.
What about the Santa Claus? What's going on with that?
I
don't
haven't
fucking
seen the
know.
show yet, but I do. I love all three movies.
Yeah,
They get progressively worse from
Yeah,
the first
they
one,
do.
but
unfortunately.
they're still good. All right, cool. The guy actually packaged it with foam. I've never seen that before.
good.
Trying to make sure I don't drop it.
Yeah, prison rules.
Oh, no, I think it actually is broken. Hopefully, it's something I can just glue. Oh, God damn it. Oh, no. It's like broken pretty bad, actually. Well, I'll be getting my money back,
Good.
but
Very
I'll
good.
show off. Damn it. I was really excited to get this today, too. Sorry, I thought this would go quicker.
Yep, being all gentle.
Damn it. Yeah, so, oh man, it really fucked up her tail. But yeah, this was what I got. It's a Neytiri bust, and it's like really detailed from the first Avatar. But her arms broke, and then the tail was all. I knew that the braid was broken.
Mm-hmm.
That was in the description, but yeah, in the shipping, it must have just got beat up by the postman or whatever.
Played
So
kickball with it.
I'll have to return it, unfortunately. I mean, I'll get my money back. So that's cool, but I didn't want to give my money or get my money back. Yeah, yeah. She's pulling a bow. I'll pull up on the internet. I'll show what it's supposed to look like. Full giant tree. The listing. I'll share this. But yeah, that damn it. I was really excited to get that.
Well, now she's, handicapped.
Where'd you order it from?
Oh, I got it on eBay. I get a lot of shit on eBay. Like, hold on, let me turn my camera back on. Yeah, all my statues from eBay. Purgatory, Starfire. I got the Padme and Nexu. I'll still give the person good ratings. I think this was just a shipping error, but yeah. Wait, where's the share button?
On the screen where it says present.
Oh, they changed it. Yeah, I'm not
Yes, new word.
Okay.
No word, same function.
All right, here we go. So scroll down. Yeah, that's the bus. That's what it's supposed to look like. Without her arms broken.
Well, she don't need those.
God, it's fucking. Let me expand this. It's gorgeous. I mean, yeah, even with the arms broken, it looks fucking great. Shows off her feminine form, but damn it, yeah, gotta return it.
Yep.
So
And then
fuck me.
Avatar 3, they're gonna have Avatar traps.
Oh, that'd be great. Perfect. Right up my alley. I don't know if you understood that, Tim. Talking about trannies.
Because all the hybrids or something, they're gonna be like, oh, they're trans.
Now we've hybridized the Na'vi genders.
We've all part of the takeover that was planned from the beginning. Literally breed them out or something. But no, we thought it'd be interesting, if they go to different planets or we assume at some point they're gonna have to team up with the humans at some point to fight some other threat. And that's what I think anyway. Like if they get to like movie
it
6,
is Zoe Saldana, and so she is
6.
Gamora.
Yeah.
Could be dealing with multiverse Thanos.
Fuck yeah, dude! Have him on this planet. Hell yeah! Fuck yeah!
Oh, dude, what a dude!
Thanos
Him and Quadric team up. Yeah, it's like I'm only going to kill half of the Na'vi. You like that idea,
would
Tim?
be something.
I don't know. That didn't even sound like Zoe, like her voice. Like she did a really good job. But yeah, bring Thanos on. Like you got to snap everyone out of existence.
Yeah. What did you guys think about the oldest son's death, or like the effect of that?
I'll let Tim go first.
I can't believe they went there. To be honest, I was like, wow, they're really taking like I really felt the weight of that. But I felt like the weight of that, like even when he was like revisiting his son into like in the astral plane or whatever we're calling it. I really felt that. I was like, gosh dang, I can't believe they did that. The oldest son. But I feel like they're giving so much more attention on the misfit son. I expected him to die more than the oldest son.
I don't know. I'm glad they did it this way, so that the middle son will have more of a character growth going forward. Like this was all a lot of focus on him. His older brother's death is more to affect his character going forward, is what it seems to me, because the older brother didn't have too much to focus on, but he was, you could understand him enough, and you can really understand how the younger one feels, because he essentially caused so many problems for him and how their relationship was. He was like, I'm your brother, and he's like, they had their strifes and whatnot, but yeah, it took a bullet, and died. So it's like, Angus and I didn't know Angus's reaction, but I assume it was like, yay, the balls, they killed a kid, essentially.
Yeah, no, kind of.
Because when they don't, it's like, oh well, the kid's gonna be fine. But
it would have been more
as soon as they kill a kid, it's like, oh, could the younger kid get killed? Could the daughter get killed?
I'm conflicted because the most impactful would be to kill cute little Took, or the kid we were following the whole time, the middle kid. That would be the most impactful to kill him, given like without his connection, going outside after, of course, firstly being duped, trying to get along with the kids of the Sea People, and then without all that, he wouldn't have found the well, and the well wouldn't have been a huge equalizer against the human ship. And yeah, because we get, I'd say like a third of the movies with him as the focus, and his butting heads with his dad not fitting in. That would have been a probably most narratively impactful death. You don't really get much time with the older kid or Took because she's cute, and you only like her or she has potential. She's kind of like an Ahsoka character. She's not annoying though. It's just, oh, here's a little kid.
She's a normal little kid in the situation. Yep, trying to keep up.
And so that would, you killed the cute little girl. I hate you. Like that would have been the most ballsy. But the fact that they actually had death, like Avatar, even though it's like Jake Sully, I feel like after the third one, also just because, at some point this guy might want to just move on to other shit. I don't know. Apparently he like sold everything to like go to wherever they were doing the tryouts for the casting, and so yeah, he went in with like, I have nothing to lose, so I've literally gotten rid of everything to get here. But at some point I think he might just walk away or get written out and killed.
So it'll be like a martyr thing or something.
Yeah, probably. I feel like Avatar is a film series that is bigger than the main character thus far.
That's that we feel that in this film. He wasn't
Yeah.
in it that much. At
It
least
feels
compared to
like-
the first film.
it
His
feels
kids were
like
in it.
this movie, unlike MCU or Star Wars, this feels like anyone could get killed in this, and I like that. I like that sense of dread. Like after the first Jurassic Park, you very clearly understand that they're not going to kill like any children that are killed or off screen. You don't know about them. It's just, yeah, this is a problem. A child died.
The one girl that got attacked by the copies, I thought she was killed, but then they say no, she's fine. She's in the hospital. It's like I didn't catch that. I thought she was dead, but then I heard a different watching. No, she survived, and I was like, "Fucking really?" Anyway, continue. Just
That's
goes
all I
on
had.
your point.
No, that's all I had.
Yeah, yeah. So when they have child deaths, it helps us. Like in Jaws, like one of the kids gets killed like about halfway through the film, so it's like, oh shit! Like anybody, our main characters could be killed, for all we know. Like there's no, oh the little cute baby is there, they'll be okay. No, they could get killed too. That's
Yeah, like
that
Quiet
keeps
Place.
that keeps you on your seat a lot more. Yeah, like a Quiet Place. Like it keeps you on edge a little bit more for when any of the other kids are in danger. It's like, oh shit, they could get killed here. It makes the tension feel more engaging than just, oh, the kid will be fine, whatever. It's, we've seen this a bunch of times. They almost get killed, brushed with death, but they're fine. But no, this was good that they actually did this, and they could have done it sooner in the film. But I'm kind of glad they did it at the end because, like that, I don't know. I feel like the development for I should fucking know his name by now. Honestly, but, the middle kid that we follow most of the movie, it's probably going to turn out to be an interesting character going forward. I would think. I mean, I imagine like House of Dragons when they had Lucerys could have been a cool one going forward. Something happens, and we don't get to see that. But his brother, could be a more interesting character after all that. But
yeah, I think my only issue with him, is just like the older son dying. They had a line in there later on after the dad says, Jake says, he's like, "I see you now." It's like, okay, so you see him now. The fact that the son is, your oldest son is dead. I know that's not what they meant or whatever, because like he sees his abilities and how he's able to navigate kind of through like the darkness, and he understands the ocean and all that stuff. And even they had that kind of the conversation with Sigourney Weaver's like daughter or whatever to the mom. And I'm just thinking, so did Jake and his wife, did they not master the ocean? Maybe that was just assumed or whatever, and maybe the kids just, you know what I mean?
well, no, I feel like they mastered the ocean too, but I mean, or like they learned the same things as them essentially. But I feel like it's the mindset that each of them are in differently. The mom's mindset and Jake's are very like in this whole moment at this climactic point here. They're all in different points, and for the adults, like to them they're just like, I don't know, they after everything they're processing, and then the kids who have been struggling with things throughout the film, like they took charge in their own way. They've been unsure of themselves. They've disappointed the parents quite a bit here and there, and I don't know, this was like a good moment for them, I guess.
Yeah, and I think I also like when you think about it, like if you teach a kid like at a younger age, it's easier to teach a kid like tricks, right?
They can absorb things more than an adult, essentially.
Yeah, because like you got like Jake Sully, maybe he's a bad example, but the mom, she's always known the way of the forest. The kids haven't, they're younger, so they can adapt to newer things quicker.
Yeah. With the mom, I thought it was more that she and the daughter were kind of lost. They haven't been in this huge machine. They don't know where to go, and the water's filling up and it's dark. Like they didn't know what to do, so they're just kind of stuck. And then with Sully, he was just in a huge fight and is injured and doesn't think he can swim or hold his breath long enough. That's kind of what that was. And with the son and with the kids giving their like little speeches separately, that's what I feel like it was more of. Like the mom was lost and didn't know where to go. with it, and the dad was injured and didn't think he could make it. He'd slow down his son. So, but the kids were trying to motivate them to not give up. And I mean, do you agree with
Gotcha.
that, Tim or Angus, with that? Angus?
I didn't. Sorry, I totally blanked for a second. What was the question?
Well, so I was talking about like when this is like after the son died and they're they went back in, and Jake is pretty much like given up, and so is the mom. They're like both not really like, she's stuck in like a dark room and under a machine with the water filling up and it's dark, and he just got in a huge fight and is injured, and the kids are like giving sort of an inspirational speech to get them to move, sort of. I don't know, I'm just saying that was a good moment for the kids. Essentially, it wasn't, it felt like because Tim was saying that they should have mastered the water at this point too, the adults. And I don't know, I was just saying that I think that it's more the state of mind and where the parents were in their moment, and the kids were able to utilize what they learned more and confidently get out of this situation.
Yeah,
When
it's
the
fine.
ship's sinking. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about with the movie, or are we getting to the closeout
Yeah, I'm
point?
pretty good. I'm just whatever y'all want to add. Probably go soon though.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I feel like there'll be more
It's good.
that'll come to mind later.
Yeah, no, I'll probably I can't wait till people actually make like, not just like, oh, I saw this and this is what I think, but like actual like in-depth essay type videos about pros or cons of the movie, and then that'll just add more context to be like, yeah, that was great, or oh man, that's stupid, But no, I love it. I give it 8 out of 10. I really love this is completely unwoke, unpolitical. It's just a conservationism film. This fictional world is reflective of our own, and it's untapped mostly. And it's like a cautionary tale of like, hey, we've made these mistakes, we should try to unmake them however best we can, and keep that course going. That's the biggest, if you will, political messaging of the film in the series so far, and I like it. It's not offensive, it's not triggering, it's not eye rolling or anything. It's like, yeah, and it was good film. My kids would probably like it. I don't know. It's hard to gauge because like it's long, so it's just kids' attention spans. But yeah, I love it. Can't wait to own it.
Yeah.
Probably go see it again in a week or two. Yeah, this movie, despite it being a Disney film now, yeah, I very much believe like good films should be rewarded. And I'm someone that goes multiple times to good movies, so I will see this repeatedly.
Good. Very good. What about you, Timothy?
Yeah, I really liked it. I don't know if I'm gonna see it again because it's so long. Yeah, 3 hours, long time. But no, I feel like it's one of those things I'm gonna sit down and really think about it and absorb and break down each scene, because even discussing with you, I'm just like thinking about more and definitely, or like more in depth. And so, we're doing a stream on it on Monday. So I'm gonna write some things down. I didn't really write anything down. I did a non-spoiler review, but I was more like improv like the first things that came to mind. But like, there's so, it's because it's 3 hours long. There is so much to this that actually happened. And it's like, oh yeah, that happened, this happened, and even stuff that you were bringing up. So no, it's worth a watch. I highly recommend it for anyone. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what they do next with that, to be honest.
Hell yeah. I mean, I feel like this will not be in the same category as the first one, where a lot of people that saw the first one kind of like say that they forgot about it, or that it was tied so heavily with technology, with like 3D and whatnot. It's special effects, but this will be remembered for special effects, yeah, but not like it won't just be because of its special effects. I think the story and characters enough will last in people's heads a little bit longer over time. Like I'm hoping that they can. There's so much I want them to focus on, but I don't know what they'll really choose to focus on going forward. A lot of people are afraid of things being generic or having storylines similar to other things, or more stuff about environment good, humans bad, or something. It's hard to say what they'll do going forward exactly. I'm hoping that they'll expand from other places that are not just Pandora, but if they go to different areas of Pandora and it's not the same freaking environment everywhere, that'll be okay. It'll at least feel different. So yeah, a lot of potential for this franchise going forward.
Yeah. And I think the interesting thing is in the third film, now that like they're going to stay in the same area, they can't rehash kind of the same events like they did this one.
I don't think they're going to actually remain in the same area. I mean, he says he's going to remain here, but I think that's in terms of he's not going to move away like officially. But I don't think he'll just remain in place. Like I assume he'll try to communicate with other tribes and coordinate plans of attack or something against sky people. But I feel like that's what it'll be. But he'll touch more base with his home here. But something like that. That's what I think. Yeah, we shall see. I'm glad we finally got some expansion on the first one. Yeah. I was among the people that didn't think that the first one was very good, but upon a rewatch recently, there's a lot more to take from it, because everybody would use it's just like Dancing with Wolves and Pocahontas, and it's generic and blah blah blah. Like that's what stuck with me the longest. But now that they got a lot more qualities to it, so it's good. Go ahead, Angus. Yeah.
Oh no, nothing.
Yeah, that's
I had nothing.
Yep. Well, okay. Well, then I guess we're closing out.
Yeah. So. Thanks, Tim, for coming in. It was good. Your additional commentary.